offer it. So,
That's right.
yeah.
You couldn't find a massage therapist that
well,
was
you're
also
in a chair. Why couldn't it just flip over at some point?
That's right.
You know? So, but no, it's not an option.
Pull a tooth, flip over, rub your shoulders.
New business idea, though.
That's right, yeah. And then we have some new friends here that have never new to the show, and you win my favorite comment of the day. I go, any question? And she goes, no, I'm new to the show. Interesting. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. That's my new friend. That's my new friend. That's going to do it for us. Speaking of the audience, the show's always better with a great audience, and this is a great audience right here. Come see us. Scan that QR code on the side of the screen. That's going to do it for us. If you're watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, you go out there and be yourself, because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
You got to run?
Yeah, right?
Fox 9 News at 11.
Now at 11, it may be mid-November, but construction season is not over just yet. More on the big weekend closure drivers will have to deal with. Also, a deadly shooting involving law enforcement takes place in northwest Minnesota. We have the latest on the investigation. And many people in the metro will be hitting a volleyball court this weekend to honor the memories of the Annunciation shooting victims. Fox 9 News at 11 starts now. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday here at 11 on Fox 9 and Fox Local. I'm Leah Bino in for Tom Butler. Well, with winter approaching, road construction season is starting to wrap up, but not before one final round of major closures this weekend. Bill Keller has more on what drivers need to know.
Yeah, the big spot that drivers definitely want to avoid this weekend is going to be 494 here in the South Metro as MnDOT crews get this construction zone through Bloomington, Richfield, and Edina ready for winter. Starting at 8 o'clock tonight, all westbound ramps on 494, they'll be shut down between Highway 77 and Highway 100. Then at 10 p.m., MnDOT will close all westbound lanes through that same 5-mile stretch of interstate. The closure will remain in place until 5 a.m. Monday morning while crews reset the lane configuration. Eastbound 494 will also be affected, but only for part of the weekend. It starts at 10 p.m. Saturday night That's when the eastbound lanes will close between 35W on the west over to Highway 77 on the east. Now, this is just a single overnight closure, so the eastbound lanes will be back open by 5 a.m. Sunday morning. MnDOT recommending drivers take Highway 62, the crosstown, as the best alternate route. Meanwhile, the 6-lane expansion project up on 94 will pause until next spring. 2 lanes will remain open in both directions between Albertville and Monticello. The speed limit will go back to 70 miles an hour, but MnDOT is asking drivers to remain aware of the traffic and the changing road conditions, especially during the winter. If there is a crash, it could cause a major backup on I-94 in the Northwest Metro. So they say if that happens, get off at the nearest exit and follow the alternate routes. By the way, that 94 project expected to be completed by this time next year. And for anyone who has been driving through this 494 construction all summer long, you know the lane configurations have been changing every couple of weeks. But the closures on 494 this weekend, they're actually being done so that MnDOT can set the lanes for the way they will remain through winter. In Richfield, Bill Keller, Fox 9.
The BCA is investigating after a sheriff's deputy shot and killed a man in Clearwater County. Our Sky Fox chopper captured a look at the scene there. The sheriff's office says a deputy recognized a man he believed was wanted on a felony warrant yesterday. When the deputy tried to take the man into custody, there was a struggle and the man drove off. The suspect eventually stopped in a nearby yard. Police say he fired a flare-type projectile and a deputy returned fire. One deputy was injured but is expected to be okay. Right now, St. Paul police are searching for the driver responsible for a deadly hit and run. This happened yesterday evening near Anthony Avenue and Alline Street. Police arrived to find a woman with multiple injuries. She was taken to Regions Hospital, but she later died. Witnesses at the scene told officers a dark-colored SUV drove off after hitting that victim. If you know anything about this at all, you are urged to call police as soon as possible. Meantime, a Mounds View English teacher charged with sex crimes involving a teen is out of jail and no longer employed by the school district. Last night, the school board accepted Ted Bennett's resignation. Police say the 58-year-old sexually assaulted a 16-year-old student multiple times. He was released from jail yesterday after posting bond. He's ordered to stay away from the victim. Bennett worked for the school district for more than 25 years, and police believe there may be more victims. This weekend, a memorial volleyball tournament and an auction will be raising money in honor of the children killed in the Annunciation Catholic Church school shooting. On Saturday, the inaugural Harper Moisky volleyball tournament and community auction will be held. It will honor both Harper Moisky and Fletcher Merkel, the 2 students killed in that awful shooting. Money raised will go to build a permanent memorial for both children, as well as to the Minneapolis Parks Foundation, which invests in youth volleyball, a sport Harper loved.
I remember her first practice. She came in and she wasn't sure that she would like this. At the end of practice, she comes up to us and she goes, "That was amazing. Like I'm not great right now, but I sure as heck am gonna get better because I love this so much." From the first practice of not knowing really how to even serve to the last game 2.5 months later, and I'm not just sugarcoating this, she was the MVP of our team.
Really?
We won the championship. She had, over the last 2 games of the championship day, she had 13 successful serves in a row. And it just shows that this is why we wanted to make volleyball as kind of the theme.
Powerful words from her coach there. Again, the event will be held tomorrow. There will be a volleyball tournament at M1 Volleyball in Bloomington from 11 until 4, followed by a fundraiser at 9 Mile Brewery in Bloomington. That is from 4 to 7. And yes, this is open to all who would like to attend. Time now is 11:06. In world news this morning, Kyiv is hit by a massive overnight attack. Russia struck the Ukrainian capital with missiles and drones, killing 6 people and injuring at least 35. The Russians also targeted Odessa in the south and Kharkiv in the northeast. In recent weeks, the Kremlin has been increasingly targeting Ukraine's electrical infrastructure, which could make power unreliable during the cold winter months. And the most advanced aircraft carrier in the U.S. military is approaching Venezuela as the White House ramps up pressure on the country's leader. Meanwhile, Venezuela is preparing for possible war. Fox's Madeline Rivera has more on the rising tensions.
World's largest warship is nearing waters off Venezuela, joining a massive U.S. naval buildup in the region. The Pentagon ordered the USS Gerald R. Ford, along with its 4,000 sailors, to leave the Middle East ahead of schedule to assist with President Trump's anti-narco trafficking push.
You have to disincentivize this industry that these terrorists are using to flood our country with heroin, with cocaine, with fentanyl. U.S.
military strikes in the Caribbean have targeted nearly 24 suspected drug smuggling boats, killing more than 70 people. In response to the military buildup, Venezuela's defense minister ordered the country's 200,000 soldiers to prepare for war.
Since they cannot say that we have hidden biological or chemical weapons, they invent a bizarre narrative so false that it collapses and no one believes it.
This week, Pentagon Chief Pete Hegseth announced Operation Southern Spear, saying the mission, quote, secures our homeland from the drugs that are killing our people. There are also reports that senior military officials met with President Trump to discuss potential land strikes in Venezuela, but that no final decision has been made. This despite concerns from some lawmakers over whether the strikes are illegal.
The president has made it very clear he's not going to allow terrorists to bring illegal drugs that kill American citizens into our great country.
The USS Gerald R. Ford's arrival brings the number of troops in the region to about 15,000. In Washington, Malta Rivera, Fox 9.
The U of M's Board of Regents is taking action after a controversial deal with Fairview Health Services. With a unanimous vote, the board agreed the university's doctors group unlawfully negotiated a 10-year, $1 billion deal without their consent. This agreement changes how funds flow from Fairview to the university.
The 3 university representatives on the Fairview board would be eliminated, and UMP would instead nominate 2 representatives. The number of Fairview-nominated directors on the UMP board would increase from 1 to 3.
Also, the proposed agreement, the university has no voice in the investment and how it's being made. It will be determined by UMP and Fairview alone.
The Board of Regents may now reconsider the doctors group's status. We will keep you updated on that. All right, the holiday season has unofficially started in downtown Minneapolis. The Dayton's Holiday Market is back for its 5th year. It opened yesterday inside the historic Dayton's building, 700 Nicollet Mall. The seasonal staple will feature more than 100 local makers and brands, as well as an array of nostalgic foods.
So this one, I wanted to do one that was just for the Dayton's market, just a celebration of this market, of the history of Dayton's in Minneapolis. So I did the Barbie and Ken shopping at Dayton's with the little Dayton's bags and everything.
How sweet is that? The market runs through December 27th and is open 7 days a week. So you've got plenty of time to get there. All right, still ahead here at 11. Many air travelers have experienced a lot of headaches in the past few days. We will have a live report on how things are going at one of the country's busiest airports now that the government shutdown is over. And if you're flying out of MSP the next few weeks, why not do a little holiday shopping while you're at it? More on some of the airport's new and improved retail options. Look for those. Plus, Keith Marler will join us with what is turning up to be a very nice Friday, Keith.
Beautiful outside, 55 degrees out the door right now, 3 degrees shy of where we were yesterday's high of 58, but we're going to keep on going. We're heading to the 60s today. I'll have all the details when the Fox 9 Morning News at 11 Friday edition returns right after the break.
Fox Local is Fox 9. Download the new app on your phone today.
Flipping into 11:14, a beautiful Friday afternoon, just gorgeous as we head on out the door for us this morning. Temperatures are in a very pleasant place. An average high for this time of year is 43 degrees. Yesterday we had a high of 58. Tuesday and Wednesday this week we were 53. We're now 53 in West St. Paul. We're 56 in Little Canada. Burnsville, you're already 60. 54 in Shakopee, 57 in Chanhassen, and 57 up in Forest Lake. As we widen that view out, you see more 60s in Faribault and Owatonna, Mankato at 61, 63 in Windham, and 66 in Marshall. We're going to clear those 70s, no problem, in southwestern Minnesota. We're going to try for 68 here in the Twin Cities, but if we're going to hit 68 at the airport, some of our southern burbs might actually touch a 70 here and there. Our record today officially 71. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour, 10 to 15 in western parts of the state. We'll all end up with 5 to 15 for the better part of the day today. Warm front has moved through the Twin Cities in the 94 corridor, is now lifting to the north, putting us in that warm sector for the day today. And that's why we're running 10 degrees warmer than yesterday and 25 degrees above average and putting us in that record territory with ample sunshine. We're in the warm sector, but there is a cold front that will swing on by late tonight, bring some cloud cover through the night and maybe even a sprinkle into tomorrow morning, and go from a September feel today to more of an October blustery feel for tomorrow as some breezes pick up the pace. Today, though, warm and bright sunshine, just a bit of a breeze out of the south and a high. Enjoy 68, whether you're just having fun this afternoon or even if you want to just set in the evening dusk for a little happy hour time. 47 through the overnight, mild as clouds increase. A few sprinkles are possible near morning, just behind the frontal boundary as it passes. And then we won't warm up a lot tomorrow. We'll cap out around 53 by lunchtime. You'll wake up into some cloud cover, but then we'll end up with some sunshine by mid to late morning. 53 for a high around noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but with those northwest winds that are noticeable 10 to 20 miles per hour, our temperatures they won't plunge, but they'll slide a little early tomorrow. We'll fall into the 40s by 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then on Sunday, more of a November-style day. Still above average. Average high on Sunday is 41. We're going to go for 45, with back to November with blue sky and sunshine for a very pretty November day on Sunday. More details coming up on that 7-day forecast, Leah.
I imagine we could hear the buzz of the leaf blowers and the lawn mowers
all
going
weekend.
well into the evening today, taking advantage of this September feel. So at least that's my plan. Looking forward to it. All right, thank you, Keith. Well, it's been a very turbulent few weeks at airports. Here's a live look at FlightAware this morning as we keep tabs on flight delays and cancellations. At MSP International, things are going pretty smoothly with just 4 delays and 6 cancellations so far. So be aware of that if you're traveling today. Well, even with the government back open, many travelers are still facing delays and cancellations, as you saw just there. The FAA says it's keeping a 6% flight reduction at 40 major U.S. airports until they believe air travel can go back to normal. Fox's Chelsea Torres is live at the nation's busiest airport. We know this one well, Atlanta. Chelsea, what are travelers saying? What are you seeing there? Good morning.
Good morning, Leah. Well, as of now, there's well over 1,000 delays and about over 600 cancellations across the country. Now, these numbers have already jumped up just in the past few hours, but they're considerably lower from what we've seen just in the past week. A lot of travelers I've been talking to say they're just glad that the government shutdown is finally over.
About time. I think as a nation, it's pretty sad that it was down that long.
This morning when we went through TSA, I'm like, every single one of these people were affected and, weren't getting paid, but were they still showing up? That's amazing. I don't know if I would show up to my job if I wasn't getting paid.
For 43 days, thousands of federal workers, including TSA officers and air traffic controllers, did not get paid. Many called out of work, causing staffing shortages, but now the FAA says more air traffic controllers are coming back. So those flight cuts will stay at 6% until the agency can see data showing airlines can go back to normal. Fortunately, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says air traffic controllers will get back pay within a couple of days. And within hours of the shutdown ending, the Department of Homeland Security announced a bonus check of $10,000 for any TSA officers who did show up to work every day during the shutdown.
We are going to not only continue their paychecks like they should have received all along, but also they're going to get a bonus check for stepping up, taking on extra shifts, for showing up each and every day, for serving the American people.
And airlines like Delta have already said that they expect operations to go back to normal by this weekend. American and Delta are saying that they're ready for that Thanksgiving travel, which, Leah, is just about 2 weeks away. Back to you.
Coming up quick, and my goodness, that is a hefty bonus check. Thank you. Well, sticking with the airports, MSP is known for its impressive retail options, including more local shops. Taking over as CEO, Megan Bender is in charge of the airport retail group. Caitlin Anderson from the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal says Bender's work can be seen across both terminals at MSP.
First sort of ground up project was the local marketplace over at MSP's FCON course of Terminal 1. You know, artists or products from local artisans there, and that's now a top performer. And so then now looking at Terminal 2, she's looking to develop a new store called Hometown Market, and that'll be really the spin-off company's new travel convenience.
And Caitlin also says travelers can expect to see a See's candy shop open up as well. So look for that if you have a sweet tooth. All right, some more business headlines this morning. A changing of the guards expected to take place at Walmart. CEO Doug McMillon is retiring in January. He has been CEO of Walmart since 2014. During his time in charge, McMillon oversaw Walmart's transformation into a major e-commerce competitor to Amazon. He will be succeeded by John Furner, who is currently the president of Walmart's U.S. operations. What was a must-have item for young chefs back in the day? Maybe you remember this. Now it's making a comeback, where you will be able to find a new Easy Bake Oven and how it's different from the classic toy. Oh my goodness, I remember one of those. Plus, some names are truly going to the dogs right now. Find out what some of the most popular names are for your pets, both here in Minnesota and elsewhere. Those stories when we check on what's trending here at 11. Express. Welcome back. We have some stories that are trending on this Friday. A childhood favorite many of us will enjoy being served up once again.
Yeah, Sam's Club bringing back the Easy Bake Oven. It says the toy oven has been revamped to include heating elements similar to a conventional oven instead of the light bulbs that powered the original 1963 version. The toy oven is being marketed to children 8 years old and above with parental supervision required to prevent burns. Nothing like cooking a good old brownie with a light bulb.
I know, it instantly makes me crave some brownies, because that was the only thing I could ever successfully make with one.
I think that's the only thing you pretty much could make.
Yes.
A brownie cake.
But I made them, got my start. All right, speaking of nostalgia, many couples are skipping professional videographers for the nostalgic charm of handheld video cameras. The New York Times says rather than spend thousands of dollars on a videographer, many couples are buying a used or just cheaper cameras, handing them off to a friend or relative to record their special day. Some small companies have started popping up online to meet demand, offering camcorder rentals and video editing services.
They got an old Betamax you can borrow, I guess.
There you go.
Yeah. Some names are going to the dogs. The pet sitting website Rover released its list of trending pet names based on new pets added to their database this year that are under 2 years old. Overall, the top trending puppy names are Elfie, Tsuki, Caesar, Rumi, and Mufasa. The top name for puppies in Minnesota, the top name is Boomer. Boomer.
Very cute.
As for cats, Rover says the top trending names are Tater, Milton, Stewie, Priscilla, and Gatsby. And in Minnesota, the trending name for kittens is Violet.
There you go. That's a solid list right there.
Tater.
Tater's good. Love it. All right, someone might be about to strike it very, very rich tonight.
Oh, I haven't missed it.
Nope, you haven't missed it. You still have time, Keith. The Mega Millions jackpot is at $965 million, folks. If you won, you could take the cash option and you would get a mere $445 million before taxes. So that's not bad. This is the 8th largest Mega Millions jackpot ever. The odds of winning the grand prize are quite slim, as you probably know. Just 1 in 290 million. So best of luck. You still have time to get that ticket. Dare to dream.
I got to find $5 first.
Is that how much they cost? I don't even know.
A Mega Million ticket, we determined that it's
Okay.
$5.
There you go.
Powerball is $2. Mega Million is $5. It is Mega Million, right? That's
what we got. Yeah. Good luck to you. If you're here on Monday, or you're not here on Monday, we'll
I'll still come to work.
You will. Oh yeah.
Of course I will.
Incognito.
It's all about the subtle. Just won't come on Tuesday. Maybe I will. I don't know. We have a beautiful day today, though. Highs in the upper 60s. I mean, our records are in the low 70s. And even though I say 68, there'll be a couple of 70s, even around the Twin Cities. That's how wiggly all of our warm-up is when it gets this little crazy. When we're 25 degrees above average like this, I'll have all those details coming up.
See, we're already hitting the jackpot on this Friday with the weather.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's nice.
Also coming up this weekend, we are putting a spotlight on recycling ahead of America Recycles Day. What you can do to improve your usual recycling habits. More on that when we come back. Welcome back. As we've been talking all morning, just this fantastic afternoon ahead here on this Friday. Keith, except for what the sun is still going down relatively, soon
in the
if
afternoon.
People are working till a normal 5 o'clock workday. So encouraging people, get outside maybe for lunch, take a little walk.
Exactly. Get a little sunlight, a little vitamin D in you as we have a little bit of that warmth that's with us. We build it fast. That's what happens when our dew points are low like this. Dew points are in the 20s and 30s, so it's easy to heat up, which is nice with that southern flow. So far today, our temperature has gone up to 55. That beats our high temperature where we were back on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Yesterday we made it to 58, but we're going to keep on going into the 60s today. Now an average high for this time of year is 43. Tomorrow and on Sunday, average high is 42. Monday and Tuesday, average high is 41. Wednesday and Thursday, average high is 40. By Friday of next week, our average highs are in the 30s, just as a heads up. We lose 2 degrees. We lose 1 degree every 2 days. We lose 15 degrees over the course of the 30 days of November. So yeah, every day, every 2 days, we lose another degree. 71 is today's record. So again, is that safe? I can't guarantee it. Yes, I have a forecast. I have 68, but I am okay with this wiggle room that we have in today's forecast. Sunset this afternoon, by the way, is at 4:45. Out the door, there's our 55-degree temperature, a southeast wind at 6 miles per hour, and those dew points that are in the 30s. An easy atmosphere to heat up now that that warm front has moved on by. That nice flow right out of the south isn't super aggressive. It's just coming on in between 5 and 15 miles per hour. A little gusty perhaps in western Minnesota and through the Dakotas. Cold front is on deck. That swings on by overnight tonight, brings some clouds with it. Plenty of showers with it out in Montana and moving in sections of parts of western ends of North Dakota. But as it moves across North Dakota, it dries up kind of through the afternoon and overnight hours. By the time it gets to us, maybe a couple of spritzes and sprinkles. So for today, sunshine and southern flow. Again, upper 60s in the metro, 70s in southern and western Minnesota. 50s up north with some passing cloud cover as we go on into the better part of our day today. Overnight tonight, the clouds thicken on up. We'll stay in the 40s tonight. You can see attempted radar returns there, maybe a stray drip or two or a spritz into tomorrow morning. By the time it passes us, it would be in the wee hours of the morning, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. A couple of sprinkles are not out of the question. We'll wake up to some cloud cover and then we break free of that by mid-morning. So ample sunshine, mostly sunny sky on average as we clear on out. But northwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour, a little gusty at times. That'll try to keep us refrigerated tomorrow. So we're not heading to the 60s tomorrow. We'll barely make it into the low to mid 50s. We'll call it 53 here in the metro tomorrow afternoon, in the early afternoon, probably around noontime or 1 o'clock. And then temperatures will fall into the 40s by the time we work our way until 3, 4 sunset hour into the 40s, no problem. And then into the 30s overnight. Then sunshine in with that reinforcing cool air advection will settle up for the 40s as we move on into the day on Sunday. Beautiful day on Sunday, just more like where we're supposed to be. For today, a September throwback, bright and warm sunshine with a bit of a breeze, a high 68, making a run near that record at 71. Tonight, extra cloud cover with the frontal boundary itself, maybe a spritz near daybreak. And then for tomorrow, more like October with a high of 53 degrees. Again, kind of a blustery breeze, though, as temperatures slowly slide through the 40s by the late afternoon. And then into more of a November feel on Sunday. Beautiful November day, though. 45 degrees is technically a tick above average. And then more of a seasonable feel with the low 40s on Monday and Tuesday. Another little chance for a couple of spritzes, maybe Monday night and early Tuesday morning. And then mid 40s with extra clouds and a showered chance as we move our way into the day on Thursday. That's way out there on day 7.
All the more reason I'm just going to seize the day today, because even a chance of a sprinkle tomorrow might, make the leaves a little damp.
No,
not too much.
No,
okay,
it's
good.
not. They were talking traces of moisture with that. No, it's just, if anything, it'll just be the blusteriness is going to blow things around. And even though we talk about highs in the 50s, compared to where we've been, and with a breeze, it's just going to, as we fall into the 40s, your wind chills are going to fall into the 30s. It's just going to be such a comparison issue. It's just going to feel colder tomorrow.
Yeah, got it. All right.
Going to take the edge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. All right, as we're talking about cleaning up the yard, maybe cleaning up the garage, well, it's important to recycle every day. Tomorrow is America Recycles Day. It's a day dedicated to promoting recycling and sustainable consumption. Saquon brings us a preview, including the advice from a local expert, showing us the do's and, more importantly, the don'ts of recycling.
Hey, good morning to you. I think recycling is one of those things that can get really complex for a lot of people, even for people who've been doing it for years. We have a lot of protective equipment on right now because things, as you can see, are flying around right now. We're in the container line. So what these workers are doing right now is, of course, sorting through your containers, and you can see they're doing it by hand, and things are flying very fast. It's on a conveyor belt, and it doesn't stop unless it gets jammed or it needs to be stopped. So really, these workers are really working very hard, very quickly to make sure it all gets done. Joining us this morning is Bill Keehan. You're the president here of the DEMCOM facility. Let's talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts. I think this is always a good, friendly reminder for people at any time.
Sure, yeah. I think for plastics, you want to do the number 1, 2, and 5 if you look at the resin code on the bottom. And of course your paper and cardboard. But the don'ts are, we don't want to have shredded paper in there. Shredded paper is too small. It falls through the cracks and contaminates the other recycling. We don't want plastic film. It wraps around our equipment. We've got to shut down and cut that off of the equipment. It doesn't get recycled because there's not end markets for that material in the bin. And then we don't want to have sharps. We see sharps in there, medical sharps, needles and such. They're very dangerous for our employees. We have to wear special PPE, protective equipment, to make sure we don't get punctured. So no sharps, and then also no food waste. We don't want to see food waste in the bin.
Yeah, good reminders. Now, I think something that a lot of the viewers might not understand is all the hands that are required to make this happen. Not only are there workers here, kind of placed all throughout this facility, there's also AI robots who kind of help you with this process.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that we couldn't do any of this without our laborers, right? Without our folks that are working. They're absolutely critical. If they don't show up for work for a day, we can't operate. So we can't just operate with our AI, but we are seeing more automation in our industry, and so we have artificial robots, artificial intelligent robots that are doing sorting of various materials alongside of our workers here as well. And so some of those are that's things that you've seen at the facility here today.
Yeah, and I think we're showing that AI robot right now in real time. Can you just explain how this AI robot specifically is working?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a HD camera, and it's an algorithm that learns as it looks at stuff, so it gets smarter and smarter as it goes. And it has a suction cup, and it'll draw the arm down, and it'll suck up on the item, and it'll throw it off into the bin. And so it's really that learning algorithm that has enabled the automation in our industry to automate some of these manual sorting jobs.
Really quickly before you wrap, we're running out of time here. I want to ask you a question about the myth. I think a lot of people say, well, it doesn't matter if I recycle because it doesn't get recycled anyway. Can you explain that logic?
Yeah, I hear that all the time. It gets recycled. If you put the right thing in your bin, it gets recycled. If you put the wrong thing in the bin, it doesn't. A garden hose is still a garden hose. So you got to put the right thing in the bin, and if you do that, it gets recycled.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. If you're ever confused about what to recycle and what to not recycle, you can always check with your local hauler. Otherwise, you can also check your county's website for more information. Back to you.
There. Switching gears, 2 popular brands of chips are getting a makeover. Cheetos and Doritos are releasing new products without artificial food dyes and flavors. The chips appear to look like plain tortilla chips instead of that bright orange color that we're used to. However, the manufacturers say they will have the same flavors. They will be sold under the name Simply NKD and will be available coming up December 1st. The original version will still be available, at least for now, so look for those. Meanwhile, a new controversy is brewing over so-called peptides. They are being pitched as something which can rejuvenate skin and rejuvenate life, but there's no evidence they actually work. Fox's Jared Halpern has more from the White House.
Most of them are not FDA approved and without human data.
They're called peptides, unapproved injectable drugs being pitched as a way to build muscle, rejuvenate skin, and even extend your lifespan. Peptide use has been expanding quickly, but now public health experts are sounding the alarm, saying most have not been tested on humans, and it is unclear what effect they're having.
None of them are proven. None of them have gone through what would be considered adequate clinical trials in people.
The FDA has taken strong action against peptide makers in recent years, but that is expected to end soon. HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. is a big fan of the injectables. He has spoken at length about their benefits, and he's vowing to end what he calls the FDA's war on peptides, a popular stance within the Make America Healthy Again movement.
We are looking for alternatives to modern-day medicine.
But there's also a possible financial motive. Some of the most prominent MAHA influencers are also the biggest sellers of peptides, raising concerns about possible conflicts of interest at HHS. Meanwhile, doctors say they are getting more questions from patients about peptides, and they say there are no clear answers yet.
There is an importance to understand the difference between clinical innovation and hype.
Kennedy says he also wants to broaden the use of other alternative therapies, including psychedelic drugs. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox 9.
The Gophers are doing a bit of duck hunting out west tonight, hoping to get a huge road win. They will be facing a number 8 ranked Oregon. After beating Michigan State, the Gophers had a bye week to prepare for this big challenge. Head coach PJ Fleck knows one of the keys will be slowing down the Ducks' star quarterback, Dante Moore.
Really accurate passer, but understands pocket awareness, moves really well in the pocket, good arm angles, very accurate passer. I mean, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the country for a reason.
And you can watch the game tonight right here on Fox 9. We have a special pregame show starting at 7 o'clock, so join us for that. And the Gopher hockey teams also have a marathon weekend ahead. The Gopher women kick it off with Bemidji State at noon, and again tomorrow at 2. And tonight, the Gopher men welcome Long Island to Mariucci at 7:30, and again tomorrow at 5. And you can catch the men's game weekend. It starts tonight at 7 with the Pride on Ice pregame show with sports director Jim Rich. So join us for all of that. Well, you probably know K-pop mania is it's popular, and it's also coming to the Mall of America ahead of a big weekend concert in Minneapolis. How you can experience the phenomenon. Plus, Shane Wells is getting us in the holiday spirit.
Good morning. We are spreading holiday cheer from Lola's Lake House in Waconia this morning. Their Jingle Bar opening up for the season today. There are many others in the metro too that are making that switch to the holidays. We're going to show you around. They have themed rooms. They've really gone all out, top to bottom here. We'll have more on this coming up after the break.
welcome back. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas at a few places, but especially at one popular restaurant in Waconia. This is a time-lapse video of the Jingle Bar being set up at Lola's Lake House. Our Shane Wells gives us a closer look at the finished product and all of the holiday cheer they have on tap there.
All aboard the Polar Express. Good morning. I know it doesn't look like it, but we are actually at Lola's Lake House in Waconia this morning. They have actually constructed a train here in their Polar Express themed dining room. And the fun part about the journey here is every room brings a little different surprise to you. We have Ryan Sathry with us. He is general manager here. Give us the scoop. This is impressive because there's not really a spot that you did not decorate. And I know this takes a lot of time. So how do you guys get that done?
Yeah, well, it takes a lot of people, first off, and a lot of time. We started planning this months ago, and each room has its own theme. Our Candyland room, which you're looking at right here.
Personal favorite.
Yep. And even all the decorations in the room here, everything's been painted by hand. Yeah, a lot of people that care a lot, put a lot of time into it.
So when you get hired at Lola's Lake House, is like being able to decorate for the holidays and having some crafting skills part of the job requirement?
No, I just got lucky actually with a very talented team. It's not my forte, but you know, it's you got to hire people that are more talented at these things than myself.
You guys look like you know what you're doing for sure. Okay, we're going to keep moving along here.
Sure.
This all started in the bar area, which is the Jingle Bar. And that's what kind of then spread as people were really loving this space.
Yeah, correct. So this is the original party spot, our Jingle Bar area. And as we became so popular that with all the decorations down here, that we wanted to share that with the entire dining room. So so that's what kind of gave birth to these other themed rooms.
I like it. I mean, it's so popular. You go back to summer hours, which is a little while. I mean, you're on the lake, so I get why it's popping in the summertime, and you get to have more hours because people are so excited to come dine here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good feeling, right?
Yeah, it's great. You know, we're not just a seasonal place. We want to have that, you know, we have a big marina out here during the summertime and lots of boats, a lot of patio traffic, and we wanted to continue that into the winter time.
Sure.
So.
Quick look at some of the menu items and some fun themed drinks too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our lobster mac and cheese right here. These are our diverse sea scallops. We have a Eden Valley Farms, Wagyu, New York, right there. And then we always have a catch of the day, and that's our sea bass with a coconut curry today.
Love it. And then, of course, just a little bit of fun.
Extra. Well, you can't have fun without the cocktails, really. So we have a couple of our themed cocktails. Our Santa Claus Napolitan, which is the one in the martini glass. That was our most popular drink last year. Then we have our Grinch. And then right here is our Kringle cup.
Looks like it's wearing a perfect holiday sweater.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Ryan, thank you for the tour. I love it. If you guys want to check it out, they open up. Things start happening here at 11 a.m. today. You can head to lolaslakehouse.com for more info. Back to you.
And Waconia is the only place you can get into the festive spirit. Several other bars and restaurants have already opened their holiday pop-ups as well. Here's a list of a few of them for you. In Northeast Minneapolis, you can check out Bina's Tiki Christmas this weekend, and Jingle Giles opens at Earl Giles Restaurant and a Distillery, opens on Monday. In Bloomington, there's a Winter Wonderland pop-up bar at Fair on 4 inside the Mall of America. And all three Nico's Tacos locations in Minneapolis and St. Paul have turned into Nico Navidad Holiday House. And the Creekside Supper Club in Minneapolis is now Winter Wonder Bar. So there you go. Lots of people and restaurants getting in the spirit. Well, fresh off a nomination for Best New Artist at the Grammys, the global K-pop group Cat's Eye is in Minneapolis this weekend. Ahead of a sold-out show at the Armory tomorrow, there's a pop-up event at the Mall of America opening today. They're still in your dance moves. The Cat's Eye Tour Lucky Draw event is happening in the Mall's Rotunda today and tomorrow from 10 until 8 each day. Fans can leave messages for the band, pose at photo zones, buy albums, collect exclusive photo cards, all sorts of things like that. The event is being hosted by the chain K-Pop Nara, which will be opening a permanent location at the Mall of America early next year. Meanwhile, if you want to attend Cat's Eye, concert in Minneapolis. Tickets are on resale sites, and they're going for between $300 to $500. So they're available, but a little price tag there for you. Well, check out this. This is a big night for a lot of students. Students at Chaska High School are entertaining audiences with their production of Disney's High School Musical. The show runs through Saturday, November 22nd. And before their opening performance, they stop by our Friday dance off. Take a look. For our Friday dance off. Thanks, folks. Good luck opening night tonight. Keith, what we didn't see just off camera, Lauren Andrego doing the moves right along with them.
It was awesome.
It was amazing.
I wondered why she wasn't out there.
She wants to give the high schoolers the spotlight. She was
practicing. She was doing the stuff. Yeah. I mean, that's just perfect. I enjoyed. I always love guests in for the dance off. Takes the edge off. Takes the pressure off.
Oh, absolutely.
We got our Friday that's just beautiful for us today. Beautiful blue sky, great sunshine, just glorious. 55 degrees right now in the metro. We're up to 60 in Cambridge, 60 in New Richmond, 61 in Hutchinson, 64 in New Ulm. We're going to be popping the 60 here in the metro area as we slide on into the next update that should be coming in here in the Twin Cities. We usually get our updates around 11:53 is when we get our noon update. So I imagine we're going to pop a 5-degree marker and get that 60 as the warm front has moved by over the past hour or so, hour and a half. 64 in New Ulm, 61, as I mentioned, in Hutchinson, 40s becoming the 50s in northern Minnesota for the day-to-day. Plenty of sunshine. Some thin clouds get thicker overnight tonight. This is your cold front that's approaching, bringing in that cloud cover, and we might end up waking up to a spritz as the moisture content of this is very starved. So as this rolls on by, rolling through the Twin Cities, maybe around 5, 6, 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, you might end up with a sprinkle tomorrow morning. So for today, 68 degrees is what we're aiming for here in the metro. We might outstrip that. Lower 70s across southwestern Minnesota. Our record 71, set back in 1990. 40s tonight with extra cloud cover. Again, waking up to a little quick spritz, and then morning clouds give way to plenty of sunshine by mid-morning. A lunchtime high around 53 possible, but then falling off into the 40s as the day wears on, and then nice and bright 40s for us on Sunday. So think of it this way. We've got ourselves a September day today, an October day tomorrow, and a November day on Sunday as we do the months of fall over a 3-day weekend. Quiet, 42 degrees on Monday. That's about where we should be for this time of year, closer to average into the day on Tuesday, and then mid-40s take us into Wednesday and Thursday of next week. No dramatic ups and downs for next week like we built into this crescendo, the climax of temperature for the day today, the warm day. I'm actually looking forward to mowing later this afternoon. I don't know. Yeah. That's weird. I found out my lawnmower, it's just a push mower, but I've got an electric one for the past 2 years, now a battery one for the past 2 years, and it has a headlight on it. Oh. I've never used it because I've laughed and gone, well, there's kind of giant battery in it. You know, you have to put it and charge it. And so it has a headlight. And I always wonder if I accidentally turn it on because sometimes the battery runs out quicker than others. And I've never thought about using it. I might actually have to think about using it toward the back of the day if I wait too long. I'm like, I'll mow in the dark.
Yeah, because you can do that. It'll be comfortable. I mean, sunset's what? You said 4:45?
We're going to be in the 60s until like 6 or 7 o'clock this evening.
Yeah. Today's the day. Give it a try. Enjoy. Might be the last one of the season, so keep that in mind too. Well, winter may be coming eventually, but you can still hit up a farmer's market here in the metro. More on some of the seasonal favorites still available. That's still ahead here at 11.
experts in charge.
It could be a very happy holiday season for retailers. The National Retail Federation expects spending to surpass $1 trillion for the first time ever. However, things are not all merry, but at the same time, they say consumer confidence is low because of higher prices.
Even though consumers don't feel good about inflation, they don't feel good about the government shutdown, they're nervous about tariffs, we expect that in this holiday season, consumers will be spending about $890.
It's not surprising to me. I think people want to have a magical experience for their families, no matter what the economic circumstances are. I think that's just part of our culture here in the U.S.
Retail experts say consumers can expect lots of sales and deep discounts to try to entice them to spend ahead of the holidays. So look for those deals. Meantime, winter around the corner, but you can still grab your seasonal produce at the Minneapolis Farmers Market. Winter markets offer fresh local options even when the snow starts to fall.
There's still some of that. It's a hearty one that'll hang tight in your fridge for a while. There's some apples, lots of squash, Brussels sprouts, onions, potatoes. Still some kale hanging on. So you can still find a lot of value-added products and different preserved vegetables. So you've got pickles, jam, hot sauce, maple syrup, pancake mix, and all your baked goods in the winter as well.
Tons of options, and the Minneapolis Farmers Market is also accepting donations through Sunday, November 23rd. You can purchase extra produce from a market vendor and bring it in the item to the market office. And on your screen there is a list of the suggested items to donate. For more information, you can head over to mplsfarmersmarket.com. It's a bit of a donation drive there that they continue on. That's a good thing. All right, stick with us. We'll be right back. Well, as we wrap things up, don't forget the are playing a big game out west tonight, facing number 8 Oregon. You can watch the game tonight right here on Fox 9. We have a special pregame show starting at 7, so we hope you join us for that. That'll do it for here at 11. Thanks for joining us. Fox 9 All Day is up next.
Well,
welcome to Fox 9 All Day here on this Friday. I'm Rob Wilson, in again for Amy Hockert today, and the cold is starting to maybe wane a little bit, so hopefully we'll get through this even better. Here is what is on tap today, like usual. If you've been outside at all, hopefully you did go outside at some point. Like if you had to go to work, there was some outside traversing there at some point. You probably noticed the temperatures are pretty nice today and only getting very nice into this afternoon. We're heading into the 60s in mid-November, and Keith Marler is right over here to talk about it momentarily.
I waved.
Was that a hand?
Wait.
It was a little cameo appearance. Wow.
Hello.
We also have a couple of big construction projects this weekend that you're going to want to know about. Lauren Andrago is going to discuss this in a bit as we wind down construction season, but it never truly fully ends, does it? And the right to repair in Duluth, a first of its kind ordinance passed in Duluth earlier this month that involves renters fixing problems. So exactly what does it mean? Could it be a model for other cities? We're going to have a live interview on that. And another pretty important live interview, the impact a big dairy farm is having on the environment in North Dakota and what is being done about it. A big lawsuit going on there. We're going to talk to somebody from the North Dakota Monitor who has done some great reporting on this issue. And we're going to go live to Eugene, Oregon. Is it Oregon or Oregon? Oregon. Justin Garr, JG's got a preview of tonight's Gophers-Ducks battle. He's out there for the big Gopher festivities and will join us to talk about, maybe he's got the correct pronunciation of
Oregon.
Oregon?
Oregon.
If you live there, is it Oregon?
I don't know. I don't know what the Oregonians say.
Is that French?
Oregon.
I
Oregon.
think Oregon's a French term. But
Organs.
Okay.
I'm from Arkansas, so therefore it's just Oregon. Like
the Arkansas pronunciation?
Would be Oregon. Yeah.
Would be Oregon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But then again, the number 10 is tin.
What?
Yeah, the short E and the short I syndrome that I had for a long time.
Really? How'd you overcome that?
I didn't. The only thing I ever came was 10. I always say, because I used the numeral 10 in my daily talking tos. So yeah, I always say 10.
So the comedian Nate Bargatze, who's from Tennessee, talking about oil, he just says oil.
No, I say oil. At least. But yeah, the drink, the alcohol is gin, and also, unfortunately, the girl's name is also Gin. I write with a pin, and I stick with a pin. I will make a conscious effort to say pen, but it is a conscious effort for me to say pen.
We have just gone sideways here in a hurry.
Guess what?
What?
We're warm.
I noticed.
We're 61 degrees outside right now. We picked up 6 degrees since 11 o'clock. The warm front moving on by. I would not be surprised if we tie or break our record.
What is that record?
71. Okay. I have a forecast high of 68 because that's already outstripping our coverage. I have no problem keeping it there because our ring of burbs are going to be all over the place. Getting the airport to 71 is the airport's the airport. We're going to have some 70s in the metro. Certainly having 70s all over southwestern Minnesota. But the record at the airport is the airport temperature is 71 degrees, set back in 1990, but we have a very good chance of stripping that 68 right off the board there and putting a 70, a 71, or a 72. So yes, our record is in danger today. It is a September throwback. A 68-degree high would be perfectly average for. You remember, Rob, the 21st day of September?
The what?
The 21st day of September.
I was
never mind.
No. I mean, I was going to Spain, and I can't remember if it was that day or I think maybe I left the 22nd. Why?
I'm just curious. That would be an average temperature, 68 for the end of September in particular. So a September-style day for today. Tomorrow in the 50s for the most part. Where did my graphic go? Don't look at me. You look at me all morning. There you go. 50s for tomorrow, more like October. We'll have some clouds tonight. That's a cold front. The cold front slides us back down. That 53-degree high will occur probably around lunchtime or early afternoon, but will slide the temperatures into the 40s after that. And it also comes with some gusty northwest breezes. So once we hit the 40s, you don't calculate a wind chill at 50, you calculate a wind chill at 49. That's how the math works. It's just that simple.
So you're saying the gusty, pardon me, the breezes come in as that cold front comes in later in the day tomorrow?
No, the cold front comes by in the night. But we'll still manage to, the cold air comes in actually behind the cold front.
Okay.
So the clouds come with the cold front, the cold front will wind by, the winds change direction, and we'll still warm up to 53. by lunchtime. And then the heart of the cold air kind of comes in behind that, and the breezes start to get a little gusty as well. And then we'll fall off. So if you're doing your yard work today, well, it's like practically summer this afternoon. Tomorrow, there's going to be a colder edge, because once we hit those 40s and that wind will be noticeable, there's going to be a wind chill you could factor. So that wind chill will be in the 30s for tomorrow afternoon. I know. It's a little blustery. The sun will be great.
Okay.
And you block the breeze, it's still going to feel like it's around 50 degrees. But I just want to let you know there is going to be a marked difference to how we feel today versus how we feel tomorrow, even though tomorrow's still technically an October day. October has its cooler moments. And then Sunday, very quiet day, 45 sunshine. To be honest, I think Sunday feels like the better day just because of the lack of the breeze.
When do those breezes then kick up, you think? Because
they'll start to kick up like in the middle of the night tonight into tomorrow morning. There'll be a little breezy and gusty. It's not like crazy wind. It's just like little gusts.
I asked
20
because
25 miles per hour.
I'm playing golf tomorrow, and I just want to make
you and Tom Butler.
I know.
I should have known.
Yeah.
Where are you playing golf?
Emerald Greens.
All right, where's that?
It's on the way to Hastings.
All right, and so I don't know anything about that golf course. Tom makes me memorize golf courses, and then he beats me when I don't know certain holes.
Well, he plays on this side of the metro, and I play on the southeast side of the metro.
It'll be a northwest wind. It'll be 10 to 15 or 10 to 20 miles per hour. The gusts will be 20 to 25.
Okay.
So just plan accordingly.
All right. Last time I played, it was like really gusty.
For those of you that are doing still more deer hunting this weekend, again, northwest winds, 10 to 20, gusting 20 to 25 as well. So. Okay. And that's statewide. That's pretty much for everyone.
And then we kind of cool into that pattern into next week.
Yeah, and all of next week looks like it's in the 40s, which would be average for this time of year, low to mid 40s.
So we get back to normal.
Nothing dramatic in our ups and downs.
Okay. Keith, thank you so much.
Have a good weekend.
All right, you too. All right, well, moving on here, happening right now, the Minnesota Immigrant Rights Action Committee. You've probably heard of them a lot lately. They've been holding a lot of news conferences as they get concerns here about immigration enforcement. Holding a press conference again right now. The group wants stronger language in the next Minneapolis police contract, which is being negotiated now. Stronger language to keep officers from assisting federal agents during federal immigration enforcement. Now, the police chief, Brian O'Hara, has repeatedly said they do not take part in immigration enforcement. They don't assist ICE. What they do is respond to public safety issues if there's a need for crowd control at those enforcements, but they're not there for the enforcement itself. There's a separation ordinance right now that prohibits city employees, including police, from enforcing immigration laws. But today's press conference, one of their demands is that police have zero coordination with federal agents and do not assist in crowd control. So let's listen in here for a little bit.
All right, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. My name is Mirka, that's M-Y-R-K-A, and I am a proud member of MIRAC, the Minnesota Immigrant Rights Action Committee. We've gathered today because the city is entering negotiations on the new MPD contract, and we need that contract to include real enforceable consequences for any officer who collaborates with ICE or violates our separation ordinance. This is not a complicated request, it is a necessary one. What happened on June 3rd on Lake Street showed us the cost of having no accountability. A militarized federal force stormed our community, families were terrified, people were harmed, and MPD officers stood with the agents instead of with the residents they are sworn to protect. We cannot allow that to happen again. So we are asking for two straightforward protections. Meaningful discipline, including unpaid suspension or termination for officers who collaborate with ICE, and civil consequences, fines, and the right for Minneapolis residents to sue when the ordinance is violated. And let me say this clearly. These demands should not be political. Humanity is not political. Protecting children, protecting families, protecting the people who help our communities thrive, this should be instinctive. It should be second nature. No person deserves to face violence, terror, or dehumanization at the hands of the government. We must take action now to shield our neighbors and to safeguard ourselves, because when federal forces come into a city with no oversight and no accountability, everyone is placed in the crossfire. This is not a fight about left or right, it is a stand for what is right. 2,300 Minneapolis residents have already endorsed these protections. Our community is speaking with one voice, and we hope our leaders will meet this moment with courage. Thank you again for being here. We look forward to hearing you speak on the issue and to working together to protect our communities and uphold our shared humanity.
Our next speaker is going to be council member for Ward 2, Robin Wansley. Robin has been a fierce voice for police accountability and for a sanctuary city in helping support these efforts throughout her entire time here. And because of her very vocal and outstanding support for immigrant communities, she won sweepingly the re-election this last year. So please welcome Robin.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Councilmember Robin Wansley, and I represent Ward 2 on the Minneapolis City Council. I also serve as the chair of the Administration and Enterprise Oversight Committee. First, I just want to say that I stand with our residents, I stand with our immigrant neighbors who are demanding of the city to update what we have found out to be a 20-year outdated separation ordinance that's supposed to set the guardrails in place for how we as city leaders and as a city overall protect some of our most vulnerable neighbors, such as our immigrant communities, which is very timely and very much needed when we're seeing Trump and his administration waging an all-out attack on these very residents. So I absolutely stand with my council members, Chavez, as well as the other co-authors who are championing that efforts to strengthen that ordinance, and that language will be coming forward in the coming weeks, and I know they'll share a little bit more about that. But what I'm here to speak on is the police contract piece, which is one of the demands that MIRAC is asking for in terms of we need to codify discipline actions or consequences in the police contract when officers are found to have violated our separation ordinance. And as of now, that currently does not stand. And I've spent the past 2 years working with my colleagues to figure out how we're bringing forward a police contract that actually does center accountability in the wake of an administration that constantly, and I'm talking about our current mayoral administration, one that has constantly taken accountability out of our contract process and have deferred that to the Minnesota Department of Human Rights, have deferred that to the Department of Justice, which we know that federal consent decree was dismissed just this past summer, and to actually bring those components into what is also a legally binding agreement, which is our police contract. So you have my support, absolutely, as we're working through the next iteration of the police contract negotiations. This is something that I'm going to be relaying to the Mayor Fry's administration, that we absolutely want to see this language be brought to the table in negotiations with the Police Federation, and for the city to do all that it can to integrate this language into the police contract. If we were able to pay $20 million for a contract just last year, that all of the gains that we quote unquote got from it expires in December, then we need to be willing to also do what we can to actually enforce accountability issues such as disciplinary consequences when our officers are not protecting the rights of all of its residents, including our immigrant residents. So I absolutely stand with our community in this process of making sure our police contract actually represents the demands that they're bringing forward today. I already anticipate Mayor Fry is going to say that we can do this through our discipline matrix, our existing policies, and I will let you know he is absolutely right. Mayor Fry can actually codify these consequences today. And I asked him in January to do so. I asked the chief to do so in January, and they did not respond, and they declined to do so. So I look forward to actually pursuing a legally mandated response through the police contract to hold them to that commitment, to make sure they're holding officers accountable to protect our immigrant neighbors. So thank you all so much for having me here today.
All right, that was Minneapolis Council Member Robin Wansley speaking as one of the many speakers here at the Minnesota Immigrant Rights Action Committee a news conference today in which the current police contract is up for negotiation right now. They want stronger language in it to strengthen the current separation ordinance between Minneapolis city employees, which includes police, and federal employees, federal officers, which is most specifically immigration enforcement. They do not want to see Minneapolis police being involved in immigration enforcement whatsoever. Again, there is currently a separation, and the police chief has been very clear that Minneapolis officers do not engage in immigration enforcement. They do not ask people about immigration status, and the purpose of that is that they want people to call 911 to report crimes without any fear if they have a questionable immigration status. They want to enforce public safety, and so they don't want any barriers to that. They do respond if there's an enforcement action that requires crowd control because crowds have gathered, and then they go there for a public safety issue. This group wants stronger language there. They do not want Minneapolis police to even respond in those situations, as well as some other things that they are asking. Okay, it is a quarter after the hour now on this beautiful November Friday again, and we're talking about road construction. Traffic.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep. That's your cue. That's like your walk-on music,
you know,
is the car horn.
That Pavlov's phenomenon. That's kind of like, I hear that and I'm like, oh, it's time to talk about the roads.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. What? So, great job yesterday at the
Thanks.
Yeah, the holiday market.
That was so fun. Have you been to that market before?
I have. When they opened it, I think the first time I was down there for a story, when they kind of launched it.
Yes, and they had some work to do, and now in year 5, it is massive inside. Like 120 vendors, you could do all your Christmas shopping.
Well, what's great is that they're highlighting a lot of these small local vendors. They're giving them sort of a venue in which to sell their wares, and that's kind of nice.
So you'll probably be introduced to a lot of local businesses you've never heard of, and I think this year more than ever, people are focused on shopping local, keeping those dollars in Minnesota if we can. So you could keep all your dollars in Minnesota at Dayton's and get food and drink while you're there too. Wild rice soup and a popover.
Wild rice soup and a popover?
Pretty good.
You got me on that one. All right, as we're talking about road construction, again, this is the time of year where, you know, things wind down, but not everything stops for the winter. You know, what's going on this weekend?
Yeah, 494 we're talking about, which pretty much impacts everybody, especially if you're headed to the airport or Mall of America or anywhere around Richfield and Bloomington. This should be our final full shutdown of 494 of the year. They're doing lane reconfiguration and getting those lanes ready for the winter season. So Monday morning, the road will reopen back up, and we will have brand new lane shifts that will take us through March of 2026. So here's what's happening. Tonight, we're just going to lose the westbound lanes between 77 and 100. That's Cedar Avenue just west of MSP Airport to Highway 100 in the Bloomington Edina area.
Westbound, that's shut down.
That westbound will be shut down the whole weekend. Just Saturday night into Sunday morning, we'll lose the eastbound lanes in between 35W and 77. This is under the Nicollet Avenue Bridge, which is actually now deconstructed, and the Portland Avenue Bridge, which they're currently resurfacing and finishing up.
Okay, so you got to go up to Crosstown to get around that.
62 will be your detour both ways. Give yourself plenty of time getting to the airport. There's been so much flight uncertainty.
Yeah, there's that.
Don't let your drive be what keeps you off your flight.
Yeah, and you know, that stretch, this is tough because that stretch, I drive 494 a lot, and on weekends, it always seems to be worse than it is during the week, even during rush hour, partly because it's filled with people going to the Mall of America.
Yes, totally.
And you know, these are people who are not used to driving this.
Yes.
So it changes sort of the traffic flow.
Yeah.
Even though there may be fewer vehicles than during a rush hour, it's not the typical.
Right. Those rush hour commuters know the roads and know what exits they need. And the exits are goofy right now.
They are.
You know, driving 494. So that's one major project that's still happening. There is great news in the traffic world, though, that I have to report. The 94 Gap project, they've been working on this for a long time. Between Monticello and Albertville, they're expanding that road to 6 lanes, which is huge because we have an increasing amount of traffic coming toward Minneapolis from the Northwest Metro every year. So we're down to 2 lanes both directions, and they have officially suspended this project for the winter. That means the lane restrictions will stay where they are through February of next year, but we've regained our speed limit back up to 70 miles an hour. There's no shoulder space though. So they warned that if there's a crash in this construction zone, it could lead to major delays, and they'll divert traffic off of 94 onto the frontage road if that happens, but this will be the way things look through February next year.
So nothing additional is being opened up?
No.
It's just that work will
be suspended.
No work going on.
And we've been seeing, like, you see that red there under Albertville, we had our final push of daytime lane closures, so we were down to 1 lane in the westbound direction this morning. That'll be wrapped up by 2 p.m. and then we'll be 2 lanes full directions, both directions, no work going on.
Well, that's helpful, because that really, you know, especially when you're down to 2 lanes in each direction in that very heavily traveled area.
Yep. And no shoulders and narrow lanes and head-to-head traffic, so it slows things down.
To not have the construction crews there will then keep things a little safer, too, for everybody.
Yes. It will pick back up spring of 2026, but I think we should have 6 lanes by this time next year.
6 lanes by this time next year.
Which we need.
Yeah.
And then here is my final good news headed into the weekend. Highway 55 now fully back open in Plymouth. We've been shut down in both directions between West Medicine and Revere lanes. That's just west of 169 all year. So that not only backed us up around 55, it brought more traffic to 394, which had its own construction project going on. So with that project over for the winter and 394 HOV lanes back open, traffic has gotten massively better west of downtown Minneapolis.
Okay,
which
well,
helps all of us.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Those are the big ones for now. Yeah, really just the one major shutdown of 494. Then we'll be in the winter zone, but that construction will last through the winter.
Oh, that's good. I see on 494 recently they've added some more of the permanent median barriers, even though you're still on the wrong side of the road for that. But you can see the progress being made.
It's pretty insane because they're kind of doing 3 different projects at once. They're replacing bridges, they're replacing ramps, and then they're creating those easy pass lanes in both directions. The east strip between 35 and 77, those easy pass lanes will start going in next year. That project's set to last through 2029.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break here on that note. Here on Fox 9 all day. It's a beautiful day outside. What remains of your fall colors? Not much, but a little bit out there. We'll be right back on Fox 9 all day.
today.
Welcome back to Fox 9 All Day. I'm Rob Olson in for Amy Hockert again today. Pretty interesting story coming out of Duluth, and this involves anyone that rents and has concerns about things that are not getting repaired. Last week, voters in Duluth approved a new law called the Right to Repair. It's the first of its kind in Minnesota. It gives tenants the ability to make minor repairs to rental units and then deduct the cost of that from their next month's rent. We'll hopefully got that all right. Because joining us now is Diana Grandal, a senior organizer with Take Action Minnesota. Is it Diana or Deanna?
It's Diana.
Diana.
Yep, like the princess.
Okay. Thanks for joining us today. First of all, make sure that I explain this correctly. How does this new law function?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Rob. Glad to be here talking about Duluth Right to Repair, which is a simple common sense policy that exists in 30 states and cities across the country and now here in Duluth. And basically the way Right to Repair works is if a renter requests our repair and that repair is not remedied or scheduled within 2 weeks by your landlord, you can go ahead and contract or do the repair and deduct the cost from your rent within a $500 or half month's rent cost limit.
Within a $500. So, I mean, is that then the limit to what can be covered? So for renters, that's sort of the number that they should look at for a repair estimate?
Exactly. We have talked to thousands of Duluthians across the city in our time organizing Duluth tenants, and what we found is that there are just tons of tenants who aren't getting simple common sense repairs taken care of, and so we fought for and won Duluth Right to Repair so we could fix things like bathroom fans, broken locks, broken oven lights, things like that, because we believe no one should have to go to court to get a broken lock fixed.
Yeah, to try to get your landlord to come out and repair something. So are there limits to this beyond, again, you said the dollar amount is up to $500. Is there a limit to who you can call to make the repair?
Great question. Great question. So the way Duluth Right to Repair works is, yeah, it's got the cost limit and a specific set of repairs. If a repair requires a contractor, all repairs need to be done in a workmanlike manner. And so if there's anything electrical or plumbing that is out of the skill set of an everyday person, then we need a contractor to get involved.
Okay. So how long has this been in the works and what led to it?
Yeah, great question. So I started Duluth Tenants in July of 2023 with a group of friends who all were, worried about what was going on with our housing crisis here in Duluth. Duluth housing is old. Most of it, half of it was built before 1940, and as opposed across the state, only 16% of our housing was built before 1940. And so we said, you know what, we need to do something to kind of preserve and make sure that our aging housing stock is getting the love and care it needs, and we also need to do something to make sure we're getting our repairs. And so, yeah, the idea of Right to Repair has been done and existed for decades across the country, and so when we learned about that, we wanted to make sure we could get something like that here in Duluth.
Was it a struggle to get this through? I mean, did you have any landlords that pushed back on this, or what was that process like?
Yeah, we have been really overwhelmed by support throughout the building of this campaign and collecting signatures. It's been a labor of love from renters, homeowners, responsible landlords across the city. There's the fingerprints of over 153 volunteers who all participated in making Right to Repair a reality here in Duluth by knocking doors, talking to their neighbors at the grocery store and making this happen. And so landslides are built, not given, and we feel really proud, really excited to have built this landslide and win the election by 70%, getting 12,549 votes for yes on question 1 to give tenants this tool in their toolbox.
And when does it take effect?
It took into effect on Monday. The city council certified the election, and then it was law.
Wow. So if you've got other, renters across the state, again, you said this is the first city in Minnesota out of 30 or so across the country that have done it, but the first here. If there's other people in other cities across the state that are listening and who think that's a good idea, I'd like to do that where I live, what can they do?
Yeah, call me, beat me if you need to reach me. Would be more than happy to talk to folks about how our team made this possible through, door-to-door conversations with our neighbors, and how we joined over 30 states and cities across the country who have this policy.
But you had to bring it first to the city council? How did it get on a ballot?
Yeah, we basically went out and collected, to get on the ballot, we had to collect about 3,000 signatures to be able to put our issue on the ballot. And we knew that we wanted to bring Right to Repair back to the folks, the voters of Duluth, who we started Duluth Tenants from. You know, we got started in 2023 with a set of conversations with our neighbors, and we thought, what an incredible opportunity to say, like, hey, this is what we want to do as Duluth tenants. Let's bring it back to the people who got us started. And I'm so proud that Duluthians get it and voted yes to give renters.
All right. So if people want to contact you to say, hey, how do we kind of pursue this where we live? What should they do?
Yeah, they can go to our website, DuluthRightToRepair.org, or you can email me at diana@takeactionminnesota.org.
And you can help people no matter where they live?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us today. Very interesting. And you know, anybody that rents and has a non-working faucet or or a fan or lights or a disposal or whatever, I'm sure can understand if they feel like it's not getting repaired quickly enough.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it so much. All right. Very interesting for anybody that's rented. You can understand maybe what some of those frustrations might be. We're going to take a quick break here at about 12:30 here on this beautiful Friday afternoon. This is a shot of Lake Waconia. You're watching All Day. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Fox 9 All Day. Rob Wilson in for Amy Hockert again on this beautiful Friday afternoon. I hope you get some time outside to enjoy it today. Maybe it sounds like a good day for a little patio happy hour, although you have to leave work even earlier because of the sunset. So that all works in your favor, I think. We are going to head up to North Dakota right now for a conversation because there's an environmental group there that has filed a lawsuit against a giant dairy operation, and it is a massive dairy operation. The North Dakota Monitor has done some really good reporting on this issue where operations of this size, and again, you're talking about a giant herd, causing some pretty serious environmental concerns about what this could do to the especially the groundwater among them. Joining us now is Jeff Beach, Deputy Editor with the North Dakota Monitor. Jeff, thank you for joining us from North Dakota. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
All right. Let's begin with the lawsuit that you've been reporting on. First, there was give us a background on this. A permit approved for this operation, was it back in December, for a 25,000 dairy cow milking operation near Hillsboro.
Yeah, that permit was approved, I think, this fall. There's actually 2 large milking operations that Riverview is proposing or has already started building in the Red River Valley. One near Wahpeton, that's about half the size of the one near Hillsboro. But the lawsuit is specific to the Hillsboro area dairy. 25,000 cows there, which is about triple what North Dakota currently has in total, and it's fairly close to the Red River. So there are concerns from landowners nearby especially about well water, but also runoff into the Red River, and they've got some allies in Manitoba that are also concerned about runoff into the Red River.
Well, tell us about the lawsuit. Who's filed it, and what is contained in this lawsuit challenging this?
The lead group is called the Dakota Resource Council. They're a North Dakota-based kind of environmental group, but also a proponent of landowner rights, that kind of thing. So they're the lead agency, but they've got some other environmental groups kind of backing them and helping provide some legal support for their cause. And like I said, they do have allies in Matt.
So their challenges are is it about the process of the environmental studies involved here, or what exactly are they trying to challenge through this legal process?
Yeah, they're trying to challenge the permit that was issued by the North Dakota Department of Environmental Quality, saying they ignored some risks about runoff and those sorts of things. They're also saying that there should be a national level permit through the EPA that North Dakota should require Riverview to apply for. So those are kind of the main things.
Okay, and part of your reporting too is it's much about the location, the geography, that this is in the Red River Valley, and there's concerns that having this size of a herd is that it is in a spot that could maybe amplify some of those environmental concerns for runoff into the watershed area. Is that how I read that?
Yeah, correct. They're both within a couple miles of the Red River, both these large dairies. The Red River, of course, flows north into Manitoba. There's a treaty between the U.S. and Canada that tries to mitigate disputes between the two countries, and there is a group, there's an international group called the International Joint Commission that actually has been asked and says they will weigh in on reviewing the permits that have been issued for these dairies and what enforcement they might have, but they're at least going to do a review of these of the permits involved for these large dairies.
Okay, so what could potentially then happen here as we move forward? Because it sounds like, as you said, some of the construction has commenced on these while this legal matter goes forward. I mean, what does this look like? What could happen as this process moves forward in terms of the development of these projects?
Yeah, I mean, what the lawsuit is seeking is to revoke the permit, and then, I assume that would either start the permitting process all over again, or it would be up to Riverview, I guess, to decide what they would want to do if that permit was revoked. on the International Joint Commission front, depending on what they find, it could go to whatever the Canadian equivalent of the U.S. State Department is, and there could be there could be a federal level involvement at that point, or some of the information from that International Joint Commission review could be used, in another legal action, or perhaps even the one that's underway.
Okay. Well, it sounds like an interesting issue that you're going to be covering for some time here, considering the legal elements involved, but also just, again, the massive size of these operations, 25,000 dairy cows in one spot. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your reporting on this issue in North Dakota, Jeff.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right. There you go. Interesting project that certainly we'll be following up there is some of these massive operations, which as farming grows, you see these operations getting bigger, but alongside them then you see the concerns from other groups about what the size of those types of farms, what impact that they may have on the landscape and environment around it. Okay, we're going to move on to some regional headlines right now, and I think we're going to start. We're going to head down to Spam Town, Austin, Minnesota, but we're not talking about Spam, we're talking about turkey. Saturday is the hometown turkey takeover in Austin, Minnesota, the city where I began this illustrious broadcasting career, by the way. Hormel Foods and other community partners are teaming up for a turkey giveaway at the Mower County Fairgrounds on Saturday. It's a drive-through deal. Each family has a chance to take home 2 turkey breasts. There are up to 7,000 available to give away directly in that drive-through operation. There's an additional 3,000 turkey breasts that will be donated to food shelves then in surrounding areas. So that's down in Austin on Saturday. All right, now we're going to head up to St. Cloud. We haven't, I was waiting for our fancy map. The St. Cloud Times is reporting that the city of St. Cloud, there it is. I feel like I can't move on without that. The city of St. Cloud is exploring potential changes to the parking meter fees. The city wants to raise its metered parking rate to $1.50 an hour. That's a 50-cent increase from its current rate. But there's another change involved. They want to have free parking in downtown lots and ramps at night and on weekends to try to improve downtown nightlife and businesses. The meter increase is needed to offset the free parking in the other places. Public hearing on the change will be coming in December. All right, and now up to, here we go, Fargo-Moorhead, where a new road project has been opening in Moorhead, but according to drivers, it is anything but smooth. The Fargo Forum reporting the 34th Street overpass, which was closed for 3 months and then reopened in late October to be redone. Well, drivers say it's pretty bumpy now that it's open again. The city engineer telling the newspaper there the city has gotten complaints since that road was opened, but they say that opening the road was a priority, so maybe they didn't do enough testing on it. Testing on the $7 million project, though, might not happen until the spring, so you may have some bumpy rides coming up until then. All right, it is 12:43 here. Got to put on my cheaters. We are going to
hello, Rob.
Ryan Rablin.
I like to sneak up sometimes.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we got another interview coming up, but that's still a few minutes away yet.
We do,
right?
yeah. So here I am, the time filler, as they call me.
Well, you're a good time filler.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I don't know if everyone else agrees with that, but beautiful day out there, Rob.
You know what? So
we got to get out there.
Yeah, and I was out this morning, and I think we'll see some zen of this coming up later in the show, because it was the day where we have this little convertible that we like having around, but we don't like it filling up garage space all winter because I'd like to park my car.
Boy, don't I know. I hate when my convertible
fills up the garage.
Takes up space.
I know. Hey, we got it sounds fancy. It's a nice convertible, but it's a $5,000 convertible that we bought. We bought it, we call it our COVID car because we bought it specifically because my oldest son was a high school graduate in 2020, and commencement was the drive-by affair in front of the illustrious Egan High School. And so when you drive by, we looked at renting a convertible, and then we just found a really good deal on one, and there you go.
There you go.
So it's fun to have around, and it's a hard top, so it's really nice.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah. So I had to drive it down to the Dakota County Fairgrounds this morning for the winter storage, and you think, oh, I would have really liked to have been able to drive it this afternoon, but I did put the top down to bring it down this morning, even though it was still in the 40s, because why not?
Because why not?
Yeah. It was beautiful morning to be out there taking a ride. I had to say goodbye to that. Until the end of April.
Until next year. But it makes it better. You know, if you have a convertible in Florida, it's a year-round thing. So it's not as special, right?
Yeah.
If you can take it everywhere, it's just not as special.
Yeah,
so.
and it, you know, honestly, in the last month or so, it had just been collecting dust in the garage. And in fact, there were some spider webs I had to clean out of the back seat this morning. So it was time to put it in storage because, yeah, it wasn't getting a lot of use. So, all right.
We have our Hockey Mom of the Year on the line.
Oh, we do?
Yep.
Oh,
yep. So
whoa.
I'll get out of here and
you'll get that set up. Well, I introduce what's going on
Leo's helping me. Director Leo's helping me get her set up right now. So.
Okay. Well, in the state of hockey, sometimes the unsung heroes are the moms that make it happen, as in getting the kids to those early morning ice times, going to games and tournaments across the state. And last night, well-deserved recognition for Jacqueline Nowakowski of Lionel Lakes. You were crowned the 2026 Hockey Mom of the Year at Mall of America and got the gold goalie stick.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I should grab it. It's right next to me.
Oh,
yeah, it was.
Can you reach it?
Yeah, it's quite incredible. Here, let's see.
The gold goalie stick. This is, look
There we
at
go.
that. What
There
are
it
you,
is.
what are you going to do with that?
I have no idea. Probably go into my son's room, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I have recognition for a lifetime now with my son, I think. So.
That's fantastic. Well, let's explain this. You were one of 5 finalists for the Hockey Mom of the Year, competing in an event last night at the Mall of America. And this is part of the run-up to the International Ice Hockey Federation World Juniors coming to Minnesota, be at Grand Casino Arena here in late December. How did you get nominated and make it to the final 5 before you got selected? How did you even get into this?
To be honest, I was on my way to a doctor's appointment and just scrolling social media, and I saw there was a contest to win a gift card, and I didn't think it was much more than that. Yeah. And it was what I read. It was self-nomination. It was, self-nomination only. Enter. So I entered thinking it was, okay, gift card, some recognition. I didn't know kind of the extent of everything. So here we are.
So you entered it, and from there you were selected to be the final 5?
Yeah, so during that nomination process, it was, or selection process, it was, what does hockey mean to you? And for me, I kind of said my story, which I'll share here, which was hockey to our family. My son's he's a second-year squirt. He's been playing for about 7 years now.
Oh, fun times. Yeah.
Yeah.
And squirt hockey was, I had 2 sons that played hockey, and it was all fun, but those squirt years were really fun. Anyway.
It's so fun. Yeah, it's so fun. And I was diagnosed with breast cancer in early June. And, this was something where, first and foremost, I didn't know the extent of the cancer, how this would impact our lives. And especially I have 3 boys, so I didn't know how this would impact my children's lives. And I wanted, the least impact to them as possible. And I just wanted their lives to continue on as normal. And hockey, it's kind of one of those things that with any sports you kind of go to, you do it every day. You do the practices and the games, and for us it was hockey. After the diagnosis, it was like it was like a pillar in our lives. We're like, this is just a constant, something that it felt like home, something that could continue with our son, and uninterrupted. And he had the support and community of his friends and our peers, and it's just been great.
It's phenomenal. My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2017, and I will tell you this, that the hockey community and the other hockey moms, especially the way that they responded to assist while going through that was undescribable. And to this day, I just think back about what they did to help during that time, and it was incredible. My thoughts with you as you go through this journey and what it means to you. So what did hockey then, this experience as you're going through battling breast cancer, how did that impact one or the other?
Yeah, so I mean, first for me it was more about the kids and how can we make their lives as normal as possible while I'm going through this. And I was diagnosed June 2nd, so summer break had just started. And it's like, there's no school anymore, so I'm going to be going to treatment while they're, at home or maybe in some sort of sports camp. But I didn't want them to be impacted, so everyone kind of stepped up, and people have been offering, meals and support, driving, carpooling and rides. And just the hockey tournaments themselves, as a hockey parent, you go to the tournaments and you're in the hotels and the pools, and even our younger two kids are kind of interacting and having fun and kind of going the normal stuff that we normally do. So it just helped bring a sense of normalcy to our family and especially to our kids, just to have that there. With them, what meant the world.
Yeah, and that's, the impact, again, all sports are great, not to take away from anything, because I have friends and our kids played a lot of sports, but some of those hockey family friendships are just long lasting, and it's pretty amazing. So you move ahead to the competition last night at the Mall of America. 5 of you. What was that competition? What'd you have to do?
It was incredible. First of all, 5 amazing women with amazing stories throughout the metro, and a couple in Wisconsin, and just great group of women. And we have group texts going, like we'll be friends for life. They're just great people. But last night, it was very fun. We all got fitted, and we were in the Lululemon outfits that were provided to us. So that was fun. And then we just got to share the stage with Vanita and kind of go through like our normal hockey routines and favorite meals and, what we do as hockey moms. And it was really, really fun. We all had to make a TikTok, and I'm not a TikToker. So I had some help with that. So we got to share our TikToks and just celebrate hockey. It was a really fun night.
That is fun. So any idea what put you over the top? What made you the ultimate hockey mom of the year?
I don't know. No, there was, no, I don't know. So, everybody was phenomenal. We were all, and we're all going to be kind of going, to the World Juniors and things together. And so we're all, considered winners in this contest. So it'll be fun to spend some time with them and continue that process.
So what does this mean now that you've got the crown or the stick?
Yeah.
You have duties to perform. Is this now an ongoing thing?
So World Juniors is coming end of December, and so up until then, there will be there'll be some. I think there's some promotional things going on. I think obviously we're going to get to go to the games themselves, and then just have. I honestly am not quite sure. Just a lot of fun hockey stuff going on.
You're just going to roll with it. Hockey moms are really good at just rolling with it and just taking it all in.
Literally rolling with it, like one day at a time. I know we have a game tonight, and tomorrow I think there's but it's like what is today? So there'll be a bunch of things leading up to it, and very excited to be a part of this, and more so again with accolades with my 5th grade son, who is over the moon. I asked him last night, do you think this is pretty cool, or is this, what do you think about this? And he says, this is amazing, this is cool, Mom. So I'm like, all right, I'm for the rest of brownie points with him for a long time.
Hockey Mom of the Year. This is great.
Yeah.
Well, lastly, what is it about hockey moms? Again, we have basketball moms and football moms, swimming moms, gymnastics moms, dance moms. All are fantastic. But, the hockey mom thing in the state of hockey kind of there's sort of I don't know, it becomes a meme almost in a way. What is it about hockey moms?
Gosh, you said it great. All sports have moms that are
phenomenal,
and dads, that are phenomenal and are driving and all the things. Hockey moms, it's just maybe it's something unspeakable or unspoken. It's just, and maybe it's because we're in the state of hockey, but it's just something in you. I mean, a lot of the kids start out playing at a very young age, so it's just something that we grow up with, doing from age 4, and beyond. But early mornings, carpools, meals on the go, tailgating, safety meetings, all sorts of things. But it's just something really special. Especially just living in the state of hockey.
Yeah, you spend a lot of time with those other families, and a lot of time.
Yeah, you grow up.
Rinks. Yeah.
You grow up together with all the families.
Yeah.
It's really fun. They become part of your second family over 10, 15 years.
All right.
It's a lot of fun.
Congratulations on your honor, Hockey Mom of the Year for 2026. So, this is you've got over a year to enjoy this title and enjoy your duties as we lead up to the International Ice Hockey Federation World Juniors event coming to the state of hockey in late December. And best wishes on your breast cancer journey here. All right.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. All right. Fantastic interview. Great to see that. Again, being the husband of a hockey mom. A little partial to the hockey moms there. All right. It is coming up on 1 o'clock here on this Friday afternoon. We're going to show you a little moment of Zen. And it was, we got this, Ryan, my Zen from this morning. Yeah, this was me at about 8:30 this morning, driving that convertible down to the Dakota County Fairgrounds. One last ride with the top down until next spring. We'll be right back. You're watching All Day on Fox 9.
Fox.com today.
Welcome back to Fox 9 All Day. For the record, everyone says, oh, you got a convertible, oh, fancy. It's a Volkswagen, right? I mean, it's a Volkswagen.
I also own a Volkswagen, but the roof stays on.
Yeah, you know,
year round.
You can. I've got ideas for you.
Yeah.
Major League Soccer shifting its schedule. This was announced yesterday, I believe, to line schedule with the international leagues. It could be bad news for Minnesota. I mean, it's good news internationally. It really works out for a lot of ways. But the schedule is the season will begin in July and go into December, take a break for the winter break, and then go from February to April. The idea also is that the playoffs, instead of happening in colder weather. The playoffs will be happening in nice spring weather.
Yeah. So good news, bad news, right? It aligns with the international schedule, and you have some playoffs in May, which is a lot more comfortable than having playoffs like now they're going on, as we know. But, you know, June is an off month, so no more games in June, no more games in the first part of July, and if the United aren't very good, they won't play in May if they don't make the playoffs. Those are kind of ideal times to go to United games at Allianz, and instead you might get some November games. You might get some February games. Now, the league did kind of say, that, and the United did as well, that they're going to have some help with scheduling so that Minnesota doesn't get a lot of those games.
I would think so. I mean, if your first part of the season goes into December, that may not be realistic here, and if you start up again in February. So kind of like the way that we do baseball, the home opener here is always a week or more into the season. And that week, or maybe week and a half, 2 weeks, some years, makes a huge difference in opening up Target Field. So maybe...
It's also welcome news for the teams who play in the South, right? So Orlando, Houston, who are playing games in July, it's very hot there. And now they'll get to play games in December, so it might be a little bit better. So it depends on where you live, but I think for Minnesota, this is not really welcoming news.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. This begins not next year, but in the summer of 2027.
Correct. Yep.
So they've got plenty of time to figure out the schedules to make sure that in the summer months we play more games here, and the southern teams have road games, and then in the November, December we got road games. Hopefully they'll figure it out.
They'll get it down. We adjust, right? We're Minnesotans.
All right. Well, going to the sport that you love so much, Major League Baseball.
Yeah, Rob, this was one of the tightest MVP races we've seen in a long time. Aaron Judge beat out Cal Raleigh for the AL MVP. A lot of people thought Cal Raleigh should have won this award. He hit 60 home runs for Seattle. He's a catcher, so it's a more demanding position. We haven't seen a year like this from a catcher in a very, very long time, if ever, really. But Aaron Judge's numbers are pretty ridiculous as well. I think he hit like 53 home runs and batted like 330. Something along that, 331 for the season, which we don't see anymore in this age of baseball. So, you know, you can't go wrong with either one. Really.
And it was close voting, too.
It was very close. Yep.
Very close.
Only a few votes separated them.
And Judge then becomes the third American League MVP, or he's won it 3 times now out of 4 years, and one of 13 people to win it 3 times or more.
I believe you're right on that. I'm going to take your word on that.
That's what I read. All right. It is a couple minutes after the hour. We're going to take another quick break, and a lot more to come here on Fox 9 all day with some headlines coming up next here, and a lot more to come. Stay tuned to see what we do. You're watching Fox 9 all day on a beautiful, sunny, blue sky Friday afternoon in mid-November. That feels more like late September. We'll be right back.
On the next TMZ Live, Ray J sues Kim Kardashian over the sex tape. He's saying she betrayed him and screwed him over.
Welcome back to Fox 9 All Day on a beautiful Friday afternoon here. It is November 14th, and it is 64 degrees currently. Remarkable. Big story in the news, of course, over the last more than a month, and especially in the last week, with the government shutdown now being officially over. But of course, since last Friday, that's when air traffic was starting to be throttled a little bit because of concerns. Now with that over, going back the other way, but still seeing some of the ripple effects. Air traffic reduced at several airports, starting, in fact, about 40 of them starting last weekend, including at MSP. Amy Hockert is looking into it today for us on what the lingering effects may be. The shutdown is over. That doesn't necessarily mean things in air travel are completely back to normal that quickly.
Yeah, Rob, the CEO of Delta said that everything should be resolved by this weekend. I think that the biggest concern right now is there was an air traffic controller shortage before this even started. They said about 3,800 short out of 13,000 of them on the job, so maybe a 25% shortage. And they were making some strides to correct that issue before the shutdown hit. At that point, going 2 paychecks, 43 days without getting paid was just too much for a lot of them to handle. And so they walked off the job. And whether that was temporary or permanent is still kind of TBD. And they won't really know because, with the government shutdown, they didn't have like a running tally of how many people had left this job permanently. And so they're just starting to find these things out today and through the weekend. And so there may be still, despite the fact that the FAA won't be throttling them, there may be some issues with air traffic control still a little short on controllers.
Yeah, I know. Talking to you, there was that issue coming in, and that's where some of that mandatory overtime came in, even leading into this. Do you know what the effects are on air travel? I know over the last couple of days it seemed to be improving, but still some cancellations as they kind of get back to normal.
Yeah, I checked about an hour ago for MSP, and yesterday I think they had 38 cancellations. Today they only had 26, and so they are starting to get some improvement. But the airlines took a lot of these flights off the schedule, so they weren't necessarily even on the board for cancellation. But today will be the last day that all of those FAA throttle cancellations will be caused. It's just that the ripple effect is still hitting us, and the number of air traffic controllers coming back to work is still to be seen.
Okay, yeah, certainly a welcome relief to a lot of those traffic controllers who are starting to miss paychecks too. So we'll see. Hopefully, air travel is not affected. I know you were slightly affected. Was it last weekend or the weekend before?
Yeah, I did the story. I believe I did the story on Thursday, and then on Friday I had friends who were supposed to come visit me from California who had their flights canceled. So yeah, I missed out on a visit from friends in California because they had their flights canceled like the day after I did reporting on this.
Well, at least you knew exactly what was going on then. Yeah.
I was a little surprised still because you think with the 10%, and at the time it was only a 4% reduction in flights, you'd think maybe everything will be fine, but it just wasn't.
Yeah. All right, Corin, thanks so much. We'll see you later on tonight on Fox 9, talking about the ripple effects. All right, there we go. We have some other news now to some other headlines going on today. A woman was hit and killed by a vehicle in St. Paul yesterday evening. The victim suffered a fracture to her leg, head trauma, and then later died at a hospital. The driver fled the scene. Police are currently looking for that driver. It happened just after 5 o'clock near St. Anthony Avenue and Aldine Street. That's in the Midway neighborhood of St. Paul. Witnesses told police the car was a dark color SUV, left the scene before police arrived. The victim has not yet been identified. In other news, the Mounds View High School teacher that had been charged with sex crimes has resigned after, again, those charges with sex crimes against a student. The school board accepted the resignation of 58-year-old Ted Bennett. Bennett's accused of having multiple sexual encounters with a 16-year-old student. The victim told police about several of those encounters, some of which took place, she said, on school property. Investigators say Bennett also supplied that student with narcotics and alcohol. He was arrested on Tuesday and charged with third-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor, among other charges. All right, in the wake of that mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church in school in late August, the community coming together. Tomorrow, the first annual Harper Moisky Volleyball Tournament and Community Auction will be held. Yesterday, if you're watching, we had one of the fundraisers organizers on all day to talk about it here on the show. It will honor both Harper Moisky and Fletcher Merkel, the two students who were killed in that tragic shooting. Money raised will go to build a permanent memorial for both children, as well as money being sent to the Minneapolis Parks Foundation, which invests in youth volleyball, a sport that Harper had come to love. Now, that volleyball tournament will be at M1 Volleyball in Bloomington from 11 to 4. What they told us yesterday is that that event is full. It is followed by a fundraiser at 9 Mile Brewery in Bloomington. That goes from 4 to 7. That is open to all to come enjoy and contribute to this pretty poignant fundraiser. All right, we are going to take a quick break here, but first, before we head off to a quick break, we're going to check on your weather heading into this weekend, in which things get nice today and then start cooling down into next week.
We've made it to Friday. Oh, we have made it to Friday, and it's a beautiful little day. Sunshine, thin cloud cover, and the warm-up. Oh, the warm-up. Yesterday, we made it into the 50s. 58 degrees for our high yesterday afternoon. Today, 10 degrees warmer, heading up to the 68-degree marker. Warm and a bright sunshine. Just a bit of a breeze. West winds, no, south winds, 5 to 10 miles per hour, come a-calling and help lift us up into near record territory. Today's record is 71, so back in 1990. We're aiming for the upper 60s, although there will be 70s across southwestern Minnesota. Sliding temperatures tomorrow as a cold front comes on by tonight, brings some cloud cover, maybe a spritz in the morning early on. We'll break free of that cloud cover, and then sunshine in the afternoon. We'll cap out around 53 around or just after lunchtime. We'll slide into the 40s by the end of the daylight hours and into the 30s overnight. Then Sunday, 45 for your high. So we go from a September-style day today to a October-style day on Saturday to a November-style day on Sunday. We get all the months over the course of the weekend. Nice and bright, a beautiful day on Sunday, just not quite as warm as today. Quiet conditions on Monday and Tuesday. Highs in the lower 40s. That's perfectly average for this time of year. Maybe an extra cloud on Monday night into Tuesday morning with a spritz down to our south. And then a better chance for some rain showers as we head on into the middle to end of next work week. Fox 9 All Day Live continues. We're back right after the break.
On the next TMZ Live, Ray J sues Kim Kardashian over the sex tape. He's saying she betrayed him and screwed him over.
All right, welcome back. Fox 9 all day on a Friday afternoon, quarter after the hour right now. Rob Wilson sitting in for Amy Hockert again today. And we got a big game tonight out on the West Coast that you can see right here on Fox 9, and that is the Minnesota Golden Gophers taking on the Oregon Ducks, the 8th ranked Oregon team tonight. Justin Guard, who just wrapped up doing Enough Said, right? Did you just get done joining us live from Eugene?
Pretty much, yeah. Then I went for like a quick 5-mile jog on this running path that you see right behind me on the Willamette River, and
wow.
Now I'm ready to join you, Rob.
You just pack it all in.
Almost all of that is true.
Almost all of that. Well, you're certainly a highlight of Enough Said. I got to say, you're one of my favorite parts of that show. Yeah,
appreciate that. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I'm glad Lori let me do it on location today, which was awesome.
That's awesome too. It looks beautiful out there. All right, what do we have to look forward to tonight? Is the Gophers take on the Ducks, the 8th-ranked Ducks. We are definitely is underdog too light of a descriptor for this?
Yeah, what do they like to say? Prohibitive underdog. I would say Oregon is a prohibitive favorite. I think the point spread for those interested is somewhere around 3 touchdowns, maybe a little bit more than that. Oregon's really good. They've been really good for about 25 years. Gophers haven't played them since one of the bowl games in 2003, but they're outstanding. Their coach, Dan Lanning, is one of the best in the country. Their quarterback, Dante Moore, is one of the best in the country. Their defense is one of the best in the country, Rob, and the Gophers played Ohio State's defense. They're ranked high in the country as well. Oregon's defense might be better. So, yeah, we won't sugarcoat it tonight on the Gopher pregame show when I'm with Pierre and Tanner Morgan and Ron Johnson a little bit later. It's going to be a really challenging night. This is a really good team. It's a team that was in the college football playoff a year ago. It's a team that's in position to be in the playoff this year. So it's one of the best programs in college football. And it's still weird that we are out here for a Big Ten game because Oregon is in the Big Ten now, for those that may have missed it the last few years. So I'm out here on the Pacific Coast essentially for a Big Ten football game coming up a little bit later tonight.
Yeah, the Gophers have had to make a couple of West Coast trips now, and I know PJ Fleck was talking about this past week or so, talking about changes to try to make some of these, half-country travel trips not as taxing on the players. I mean, what has the coach and the program done to try to make this so that it doesn't impact the play?
They try to stay here as little as possible, so they get in as late as they can. Their studies and their analytics say that if you can just kind of keep yourself on your normal body clock as much as possible, that's essentially what the successful teams have done, or that's essentially the way that you want to do it. So, but you're right, they went out to Cal, and even PJ said he probably overthought that one a little bit earlier in the season. He had guys practicing at night. That was a 9 o'clock kickoff that night. Tonight's obviously a little bit earlier than that. So, but they do everything. I mean, they're on the guys about to sleep, when they can nap, when they can eat, what they're drinking, what they're eating, all of those things. So, but these trips are long. I mean, there's a great stat, and I don't know the updated numbers, Rob, but teams that have to travel 2 or more time zones don't typically play very well, and that's east to west and west to east. So that's one of the new realities in college football, given that the conferences are so big and they basically span the globe, that these 2 time zone trips like this, the road team typically has trouble. So that's just another thing that's kind of working against them tonight.
Well, what do we have to look forward to? There's been some bright spots, certainly. I mean, that's been kind of, and there's some not so bright spots here. I'm talking about that Iowa game specifically, but some of the other games around it, there's been certainly some bright spots with the Gophers, with things going in the right direction. I mean, what do you see as the strengths coming into this game that we should watch for in this game?
Well, I'm most curious to see how the quarterback Drake Lindsey plays, because this is really the 3rd intense environment that he's going to be a part of now. He started at Ohio State. He started at Iowa. Played pretty well at Ohio State. Didn't play well at Iowa. That was probably his worst game. So Autzen Stadium here in Eugene's only about 55,000, but I'm told it's really, really loud. People get really into it here. So I'm mostly looking forward to how he progresses, because asking for bright spots, a couple of things. They're undefeated at home, which is great. They've got one more home game coming up the Saturday after Thanksgiving against Wisconsin. But the other bright spot to me is that I think they have a dude in the quarterback. I think Drake Lindsey's a really good quarterback. He's a freshman right now, has gone through some ups and downs, but there was a reason why they decided to give him the ball this season. You don't have to do that in 2025 in college football. If you don't love your quarterback, you go get another one in the transfer portal. You can find maybe a more experienced guy like they did a year ago with Max Brosmer. But I've been telling people all summer they like this kid. That's the reason why he's starting, and I'm fascinated to see how he does tonight, because this is the next big moment for him.
Well, it's a huge moment tonight. I mean, and that's what'll make this very fun to watch, to see exactly what some of these things have been working on and how it stacks up against a team like Oregon. I mean, what do you think they looked at from, again, going back to the Hawkeye game, which was, I mean, the Hawkeyes had more points than the Gophers had yards there at the beginning of that game. What do you think that they have just fixed from that outing that may reflect in changes that you might see tonight?
Well, you hope that they just get into the game, and that's actually what I've been telling people here as I was, kind of wandering around here this path in between Enough Said and joining you. People are asking me, what do you think? And I said, I just want to see them get into the game, because you mentioned it. In Iowa, they didn't. They ran 4 offensive plays and they were down 17-0 because Iowa scores on their first drive. Gophers go 3 and out. There's a pick 6 after Iowa kicks a field goal. Then there's a punt return for a touchdown. Like, they just never got into the game. By the time they kind of woke up, the game was over, because you're just not coming back from a deficit like that. Iowa played great. It's a tough place to play, as you know. I know you've been down there. And so I just want to see them get into the game and see what happens. On the Oregon side, what will be interesting is they were just in Iowa City this past Saturday in a really tough, really physical, really rainy day, and then they had to come back home on a short week, and the Gophers have been sitting on a bye. They're coming off their bye week, and so the Gophers should be fresh. They should be healthy. I think they're the healthiest they've been in about a month, so that's good. That includes hopefully Darius Taylor maybe seeing some time, and we'll see what happens tonight. But Oregon, I'm curious to see how they play too, because they went through the Iowa ringer a week ago and snuck out with a field goal at the buzzer.
Yeah, and then let's move from the field to something more sartorial here. I don't know if you know, I was just reading about this online, that, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but the Gophers have a new helmet they're wearing tonight. Are you aware of this? They've got another version of the helmets that they're unveiling for the game tonight. It seems like one of the fun things about it is they got a lot of different uniform combinations and a lot of different helmets. I don't know how that works.
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't really know either, except I know they have a lot of them, and they work very closely with Nike, and that's kind of the cool part. Oregon, where we are now, Oregon was kind of the leader in that. Oregon started that, maybe 15, 20 years ago. They were the ones that started with the alternate uniforms. They were the ones that started with different helmets. They were the ones that started with the flashy stuff that you see a lot of teams wear now. They were really the trendsetter and the trailblazer in that regard. So I'm guessing that has something to do with it, that the Gophers want to make a little bit of a splash here with what they're looking like, just because almost like an homage to Oregon for being the trendsetters that they were.
Yeah, it says they've elected for a white get-up with a striped helmet. Some of the colors switched. Let's see. The helmet is much like Oregon's, also white with a stripe up the middle, but maroon and gold. The M on one side and the Goldie on the other. So this is apparently something we'll see tonight for the first time.
And you know what's crazy? People have to put all those decals on there. Like Brady, the equipment manager, and his staff, like, you don't just run it through like an assembly line. Actual humans have to do that, and it takes a really, really, really long time.
That's a lot of work. Justin, we'll see you later on tonight. Enjoy your time out there. Go for another jog around the lake, whatever you want to do. I know you've got that action suit on, so it stretches with you.
Exactly right. Yeah, maybe a swim. Maybe a swim in the Willamette River. Maybe I'll do an Ian Leonard triathlon. I don't know.
You could.
I'll make the most of Eugene here.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you later. All right, Justin Gard joining us from Oregon ahead of the big matchup tonight, which you can see right here on Fox 9. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Looking forward to that, Ryan.
You gonna watch it tonight?
I will attempt to watch it tonight. I don't know.
What does that mean?
Well, because I never know going into a Friday night what plans may be unveiled upon me that, like, hey, we're doing this or we're doing that, or with something, I don't know.
The life of a convertible owner right there.
Yeah,
the
well,
Friday nights are up in the air.
Yeah, it is.
Parties
it's really,
galore.
You never know. It could be a quiet night at home, or it could be suddenly like, oh, we're going to, oh, okay. So yes, I will make every attempt to watch as much of that game as I can, but we shall see. But it'd be fun to see how they stack up against a really good team. I mean, that is really the test of a team, is that maybe your expectations are low, but you have high hopes for proving certain elements of your game.
Yeah, I mean, we did see them play Ohio State earlier this year in Columbus, and that did not go well. You and Justin mentioned the Iowa game. So I think we'd like to see some fight in this team tonight against an Oregon team who, this game has college, they all do, college football implications, college football playoff implications for Oregon. Who's 8th ranked. We know that 12 teams get in. Now there's kind of a system that goes there. Oregon can't lose this one. They certainly don't want that. So we'll see how the Gophers fight tonight.
Yeah, and he's right. This is a quarterback that the Gophers have that is fun to watch and see where he develops into, because they could have something here. I mean, he's made some really good plays.
And it's on Fox 9, as you mentioned. So,
it is on. We can't mention that enough.
Do not touch the dial tonight. We got you covered.
Yep.
Pre-game shows,
post-game show,
the whole deal.
Everything.
Enough said with Justin Gard on after the game and
Justin,
some other things.
Yeah, once he gets a little workout in between, sure. All right, where are we going next here? I've kind of lost my place.
We could take a break.
All right. Yeah, we'll take a break on this beautiful Friday afternoon. Hope you're getting outside to enjoy it, but not yet. I mean, just keep watching us for now. Beautiful, beautiful sky out there. Target Field down below. Unfortunately, no baseball right now, but it'd be great baseball weather for it. We'll be right back. You're watching All Day on Fox 9. Welcome back to Fox 9 All Day. Just checking the temperature now, up to 65 degrees on the middle of November. Phenomenal. High school sports have become incredibly competitive, obviously. Young athletes expected to commit all of their time and energy if they want to make the top team or get offers to then go play in college. But sometimes, no matter how hard you work, no matter how bad you want it, life has other plans. Amy Hockert sat down with a high school senior from Hermantown who's learning that lesson the hard way, but wants to share a message of hope and perseverance.
The person that I wanted to talk to here next is a 17-year-old from Hermantown by the name of Lance Jansen. And I, on Halloween, was sitting at home, waiting for the doorbell to ring, and I was scrolling through X on social media, and I came across a post from a young man who I don't know, who I've never seen before. But I read his post, and it really resonated and touched my heart, and I wanted to just give him a chance to maybe help other people who are struggling. So, Lance, thank you for spending some time with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me on here.
You bet. So you are a 17-year-old senior in high school. You've been a basketball player for a really long time. You want to tell us a little bit about how basketball has played a role in your life?
Yeah, basketball's probably been the biggest thing in my life so far, other than my faith. And it's just taken up a lot of time. I've traveled a lot of places and had hopes to play in college that were cut short, but I've learned a lot from it, and it's going to continue to be in my life.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect place to have you, if you wouldn't mind just sharing the post with us, and I'll just kind of let you read the whole thing if you're okay with that. You can go ahead whenever you're ready.
Yeah, so the post says, due to an ongoing heart issue, I'm forced to quit basketball. After trying nearly everything to fix it over the last year, it has remained a problem and slowly become worse to the point I can't play. I gave everything that I had to this game, and the fact that I never got the ability to show just how much I put into it is heartbreaking. But my value isn't in this world, how people see me, or how good of a basketball player I am. My value is in God. My walk with Him is the most important thing to me. I am forever grateful that God has allowed me to endure these hardships, because through them, He has shaped me into who I am today. Basketball isn't in the path God has for me, and He has made that clear. But the lessons from it will remain in whatever I do in life. Thank you to everyone who has been with me and supported me throughout my journey. And I put Romans 8:28 at the bottom.
And that was posted on October 31st. How long did you know before you made that post that your career in playing basketball, for now at least, was over?
Well, I knew like 99% sure for like a month. Or a couple weeks probably, and then that day I knew for sure because I went to work out one more time, and I just decided from that I wasn't going to be able to.
Okay. There were a couple of reasons that I was hoping to talk with you. One, because just digesting information, like that at your age when your whole life has been about basketball. What was that like for you? What has that been like for you since the time you started having the issues with your heart? Could you repeat that one more time? Yeah, I guess let me rephrase it this way. When did you start having issues with your heart? We'll kind of start there and explain to us what is going on there.
So what I have is an arrhythmia. So my heart will skip beats when it gets to a high enough rhythm. And that causes like fatigue, and it's almost made me pass out a couple times. And I've had it since last year. It wasn't as bad this time last year, but it was still there off and on. I was able to play through my junior season with it, and it kind of affected how I played and stuff, but not to the point where I couldn't play. And then this summer, at the end of the summer, it got worse to where every time I work out, I feel like I'm going to pass out or like lose my breath, and it's not enjoyable to play with at all. And it's just been, we've tried so much to get rid of it. We tried functional neurology. We were driving 2.5 hours down to cities for that twice a week, and went in for an ablation, and they couldn't find anything to ablate, so that didn't work either. Tried multiple medications, that didn't work. And it's just hard because I'm a really healthy person. Like, I eat super healthy, I take care of my body, and it's just wasn't part of the plan for me. So
aside from the basketball piece of this, what are they telling you? I mean, if as long as you don't exert yourself, they feel like you're going to be okay.
Well, they said if I feel like I can play through it, then I can play, but I don't feel like I can at all. Like every time I go out there, I'm going to pass out, I feel like, or just no.
This is, it's one thing if you're, a young man who plays basketball and, you had aspirations to play beyond high school. Tell me a little bit about that. And you'd actually had some traction there as well.
Yeah, I just started to gain like college interest, and I had a couple offers this past couple months. I was exploring my options, and yeah, I thought I would be playing in college, and now I don't think I'll be able to.
Since you put out that post, I know it's only been like a little over a month or so since you've really made the decision, and I'm just curious how have you been doing? You're 17 years old. How have you been handling all of this?
It's been kind of tough. At some points I've had like moments where I'm like, I'm going to be out there next month with my team, and then I can realize I'm not going to, and it's just kind of hard to process that. And I mean, there's a stage of grief where there's denial. Like I'm denying that I'm not going to be out there, and I don't know. It's just been tough, but I know God will carry me throughout it all, and His plan is greater than whatever I had in mind for my future.
And again, I guess one of the main reasons I wanted to talk to you is just there's so many, young people, like especially your age, especially people who've gone through, COVID and whatever they've gone through at this stage of their life, and what they saw in front of them is maybe now completely different. What would you say to other people who might feel like they're kind of all alone in a like relatively similar situation?
I would just say you're never alone. God is always there. He's going to carry you through anything. And just trust that whatever bad time you're going through, it's just going to make you a better person out of it, and better in the long run.
Yeah. So things are going to work out for you. We're going to talk to you again at some point, and you're going to have some kind of really amazing story to tell us. Something that happened because of all of this. I just know it. So thank you. I really appreciate you trusting us, taking the time to share your story. And I really feel like it's going to help other people. So best of luck to you in your future. Thank you, Lance.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Take care.
All right, Amy Hockert's conversation with a Hermantown athlete who realized he had to give up his basketball dreams because of a heart condition, and referencing that you deal with these temporary hardships by realizing that there may be a greater purpose involved as you come through the other side, and dealing with that disappointment is certainly part of that process too, as you realize what is next. What is next for us? Well, coming up, we're going to have a conversation, I believe, with Pierre Nugent about all things sports as we head into the weekend. We got Gophers, we got the Wild play tomorrow night. We'll see what we want to talk about. We'll be right back, but first, another moment of Zen. right, it is a Friday here on Fox 9 all day. Rob Olson sitting in for Amy Hockert again today. Thanks for having me come along. My voice is improving throughout this. The last couple of days have been a little bit rough, but finally getting on the other side of this head cold, I hope. Let's see. Beautiful weather. Vitamin D might help. We got to talk more sports right now, and we're going to bring in our friend Pierre Nugent. Is Pierre ready to go? There he is. Pierre, you're looking like you're ready to podcast up there. I like it.
Always ready.
Yeah. So I don't know where you want to start. I'll leave this up to you. Do you want to start talking about this? Well, let's begin with what's first on the plate tonight. We talked extensively with Justin Gard about the Gopher-Oregon game tonight. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, my thoughts are I hope everybody in the Minnesota locker room believes in each other, because I can tell you right now there's not a single person outside of that locker room that believes Minnesota can win this game. Not one, unless you're a former player. However, we have seen crazier things happen across the landscape of college football, and all it takes is a couple of breaks in a game for you to suddenly find yourself in a position to win a game like this on the road. Now, I know coaches across America at any level will tell you it's not about trying to be perfect. It's just about executing to the best of your ability, and that is true. But the Gophers are going to have to play a darn near perfect game here tonight if they're going to want to knock off Oregon, because it is going to be a challenge from beginning to end. And I think really it starts with them offensively, in my opinion. The offense has to be able to move up and down the field and get points on the board on a consistent basis. You have to go at least every other drive down the field and get points on the board. That is the only way for Minnesota to stay in this game.
Okay, so I mean, hoping for a win, but really the best expectations here is I want to see an entertaining game, and I want to see some bright spots out of this Gopher team that you can be, take away from, for the future.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, because if you look at the two previous big games that they've had this season on the road at Ohio State and at Iowa, they've been outscored 83 to 6 in both of those games combined.
Yeah.
So that's not, people talk about all the time about what's the best way to predict the future is looking at the past. That's not necessarily a phrase I would use here, because football is a week-to-week thing, and a lot of it is matchup based. But they're going to have a lot better showing, I think, Rob, than what we saw against Ohio State and at Iowa to inspire some level of confidence in this fan base, because going on the road and getting absolutely blown out is not something that's going to inspire a lot of confidence in your fan base moving forward.
No, we'll stay on football and then move to soccer. So let's move ahead to Sunday, the Vikings-Bears matchup. What are you looking for here? This could be an entertaining game.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to be an entertaining game. Kevin O'Connell's about to head to the podium any second now to give us an update on who's available for Sunday and who's not. And it's not looking great right now for Jonathan Grenard to be available on Sunday. He didn't practice on Wednesday. He didn't practice on Thursday. We'll get an official update coming up in just a little bit from Kevin O'Connell, but it's not looking great right now for Jonathan Grenard to be playing on Sunday. That's certainly a blow to the Vikings defense. And if you're looking at this game from a bird's eye view, in my opinion, this is absolutely a must-win game for Minnesota. This is a must-win game for them, because you have the Packers who are on the road taking on a Giants team who just fired their head coach. The Eagles host the Lions on Sunday Night Football, so that could be an interesting game. But if the Lions, Packers, and Bears all win on Sunday, Minnesota is a full 3 games back of just third place in the division with 7 games to go. That's not going to be a recipe for success. That will certainly not inspire any kind of confidence for me in terms of them getting into the postseason. So it's going to be. That's why I think Sunday is an absolute must-win game for the Vikings.
All right, now to soccer. The Loons don't have another game in the playoffs here for looking at their schedule for a couple of weeks. Let's talk about first, though, the schedule change. The MLS announcing that begins in 2027 to start so the season will be starting in the summer and going through into November, December, and then take a break and then pick up in February into April to align things internationally, but also to make the playoffs in warmer weather. How do you see this affecting, though, our team here?
Well, we've been hearing rumors about this for 2 years now. And I think the biggest question, especially in the northern and northeast markets, are how in the world are you going to play this game in December, January, February. Absolutely impossible. You can't, and you won't be able to attract free agents that want to come and play in that kind of weather. The break is good. I know that they will strategically structure schedules for the northern teams and the northeastern teams to perhaps play more games out west or in the south if they can possibly help it, starting in February. That's for sure, because everybody knows that nobody wants to go outside in February in Minnesota or Montreal or Philadelphia, New York. These are going to be tough places to play the game in those type of weathers. They did it to match the international calendar, to match it, try to give themselves the best possibility of attracting free agents around the world. Major League Soccer, in my opinion, is I'm sure they wouldn't love me saying this, but the moves that they're making right now feel like this is more to appease, to put themselves as a league on a more global scale, not as much to attract themselves to the American audience. Now, they may say that by proxy, if you're able to align yourself in a transfer window to get supreme talent from across the globe and compete with some of these big name leagues from across the globe and get these big name talents, perhaps even in their prime, then that will attract the American audience and perhaps grow your league a little bit better and give it more credibility. So at first I thought it was going to be a crazy move for them to do this, but the more I think about it now, the more it makes a little bit of sense. And your postseason is not going to be directly conflicting with college football and the NFL. I think that's a big plus for them as well. They won't have to take an international break during the postseason like they're on right now and stop the momentum of their postseason.
Yeah, I think when you talk about lining up the playoffs and, that spring weather, which is, at that point, maybe you're competing with the beginning of Major League Baseball and the end of the National Hockey League. But, yeah, I mean, football is a really, that's a 800-pound gorilla to compete against for attention in the fall, that's for sure. The transfer window thing, that all makes sense too. Hopefully they'll get that schedule figured out to make sure that we're on the road to some of those less attractive times. How do you think as we look ahead in the Loons playoff run now, what should we watch out for?
Well, first and foremost, the match is scheduled for Monday, November 24th. It's going to be another late game because they're playing out west in San Diego. So be ready with an extra cup of coffee to keep yourself up and watch that game. But it's a one-and-done format now from here on out, no longer the best of three. So it's do or die for everybody from here on out. And the winner of this game will move on to play the winner of LAFC and Vancouver. And Minnesota and San Diego met twice in the regular season, Rob. They split both games, each winning in the other's house. So Minnesota did win in San Diego earlier this season. And I still don't know how they were able to get out of Game 3 against Seattle being down a man, but certainly the recipe for success is, keep your head for starters. That certainly will be important. But Minnesota, I think, likes their matchup with San Diego. I think this is a game that Minnesota can certainly win. I think I would have rather have seen, even though San Diego's a higher seed, Portland was a dangerous team. They came in with so many different options and so many ways, structures and ways they could play the game. But I think I like Minnesota's chances better against San Diego against Portland. Now, don't send this to San Diego and have them put this up as bulletin board material. So apologies in advance to the Loons if this gets out. But I think this is a matchup that Minnesota can definitely win and return to the Western Conference Finals.
All right, so the Gophers play Ducks tonight. The Wild play a different Duck tomorrow night. The Anaheim Ducks in town. Wild haven't played, what did they last play on Tuesday night, so they had a bit of a break. Hopefully they can kind of get things on the for the Minnesota Wild, their ship righted. They've hit some bright spots there. I don't know. Any
November
thoughts?
has looked a lot better than October so far, that's for sure. And they let one get away against the Sharks on Tuesday night. That's a game they probably should have won. But Anaheim is coming in here having a terrific start to the season, one of the better teams in the Western Conference. They're at top of the Pacific Division right now. So Anaheim is certainly no joke. But Minnesota has looked better in November, like I said. Perhaps that's just the start of it slowly starting to come around. Again, it's I hate to be cliche, but it is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So things certainly do need to get better and do need to get corrected. Certainly, no doubt about that. But there has been a change a little bit in the way they've been able to play the game and getting results that they've wanted, as opposed to what we saw in October.
Yeah, it looks like
a good start.
Marco Rossi is out, as an alert I saw today. But I will tell you this, in watching the games, is that there are a big chunk of these games that they lose where it looks like the Wild is the dominant team, but still come out on the wrong side of the score. And it is a really weird dichotomy where you just looked like they were playing great and they lost.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, that's, I'm sure all the players and even the coaching staff would probably be sitting here and tell you, kind of shrug their shoulders and tell you that's hockey.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can be the best team on the ice for 60 minutes, but if you run into a hot goaltender, or, you know, a puck hits the post and goes, like a puck hit the post the other night against San Jose, they could have been up 2-0 in that game. Puck hits the post, goes the other way, and then in the third period, San Jose gets an opportunity, forces overtime, they win it in overtime, which of course on a 3-on-3 format is a crapshoot.
Well, and I also see a lot of cases too where it looks like they're the dominant team, but they're trailing in shots on goal. I mean, visually it looks like they're dominating, but they're just not getting the puck to the goalie.
And I think that's where, if John Hines was here, he would tell you, you know, if you look at the overall body of work over the last 5-6 games, that's what they want to look like. And the results will come after that. If you can dominate games, if you can be the more physical team, the results will eventually come. And that's certainly what they're hoping for. I know the fans, that's certainly what they're hoping for as well. I don't want to use the patience word, because I think fans have been patient long enough. But we're only in mid-November. We got a long way to go here.
A lot can change. Pierre, thanks so much for taking some time with us today to talk all things sports. I mean, we could go on. We could get to F1. We could get to major. You know, I don't know. We could go all sorts.
Wolves
of stuff.
in action tonight at home against the Kings as well.
I'm sorry. Don't want to forget about the Wolves. We're out of time here. Thanks, Pierre. We'll see you later.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
it is. We're coming up closer to 2 o'clock. We're going to take a quick break and be right back here. Oh, we're out of breaks.
We're out of breaks.
We're out of breaks? I thought we were okay. Wow,
we've fulfilled our duties.
I literally lost track of myself on this rundown here.
I know. We're done.
My computer battery is dying here too. So
we did have time to talk F1 with Pierre, but another time.
Another time. I tell you what, I've really become much more interested in F1 recently, partly because one of my kids. Well, one of my sons got interested in watching Drive to Survive on Netflix, got him interested in the sport, and he was telling me about it. I'm like, oh, and then I saw the F1 movie, which got me interested in watching the Netflix Drive to Survive, which then has got me, and I'm not watching a lot of races, but it's like
it's getting you there.
You learn about it, and it becomes really fascinating how complex that race is.
It's a growing sport too. People are into. We got a couple people in the newsroom here, are big F1 fans. So.
Yeah, they just happen at weird times, so it's kind of hard to you know, because they're all over the globe, and so suddenly you're like, oh, is that race? Oh, okay.
They do. Rob, I want to mention this because this just came down. The childhood home of Prince has now been designated as a local landmark. So the city council and the mayor has made that designation. So as we know, Prince grew up in Minneapolis, and so this is the home he lived at from ages 6 to 12. He learned to play piano, developed his songwriting. So this is a big deal. This is a 2600 block of 8th Avenue North in the Willard Hay neighborhood.
And I know that becomes kind of a pilgrimage site for Prince fans that come into town to visit Paisley Park, and they want to go see that, and then they go see other sites from Purple Rain. So what is it, any idea what this means by getting that designation? Is there there's some kind of plaque there? Or
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Any future alterations to the property's exterior will be reviewed by the city's historical preservation staff. So I think just kind of a closer watch, and you can't really change things. And you know, once you get this designation, you want to try to keep things, preserve things as they are. So.
Interesting. I have not been by that home. I just never been. I
haven't either.
I did find the homes used in the original Grumpy Old Men movie over in St. Paul. I believe it was by Lake Phelan. It took me a while looking at maps and I'm like, I think they're here. And then here they are.
A classic movie.
It is a classic movie. Yeah, set in Wabasha, but none of it actually filmed there.
I remember my mom taking me to that movie in the theater as a young kid.
Your mom took you that? I was an adult and went to that movie.
When did it come out?
It was mid-90s, what, 93-ish, I'm going to guess, 92, 93?
That sounds about right.
I was working, I was living in Rochester and went to the movie theater down there at the, is it crazy? I remember that, like at the Apache Mall movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Came out in 93. Came out on Christmas. Christmas of 93.
There you go.
I was 9 years old. Sorry. But I don't have a convertible, so we're even.
Okay, all right, fine, you got me there.
Final 30 seconds here before we leave you with some zen of Lake Waconia.
No, Lake Waconia is nice. Yeah. Final 30 seconds, I will have this thought here, is that if you can get outside today, do it, enjoy it, soak up this vitamin D, but remember that the sun sets in about 12 minutes from now is what it feels like. It's like at 10 to, I don't even know what the official time is, but it's getting dark by 5. And so if you want to enjoy that, you better tell your boss, I'm out of here now, blame it on the sunset.
I think that's fair.
Will that work here?
We will co-sign that, yep.
I don't know. I'll try that.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks for having me in once again today. This is Lake Waconia, a beautiful site out there. Enjoy some zen, but enjoy the sunny weather right now. And we'll see you back here on Monday.